On the next all-new episode of My Adventures with Superman.
Is anyone here? No! Are you alright?
I'm okay, but...
Somebody help me!
I have to go.
Oh, look at that. You made it out.
My Adventures with Superman. New episode. Saturday at midnight on Toonami. Next day on Max. On the next all-new episode of Zom 100.
What the hell do you think you're doing to my precious goods, you idiot? I guess you'll just have to work tomorrow and over the weekend to finish it up.
But you promised today was my last day!
You waste of food! Do you know how many losses I've incurred because of your incompetence? You could work here your entire life and it wouldn't be enough!
Zom 100. Bucket List of the Dead. Next Saturday at 12:30. Only Toonami on Adult Swim.
Welcome to Saturday Night Shoggy. I am your host for today, VLord GTZ, and with me I have my usual co-host, Sakaki.
Yo, I go see.
And also today we have a special guest. Welcome Winter Venom from the Behind The Manga podcast.
Hey, thanks for having me on here.
Yeah, totally. I mean, we've been bros with you, Winter, for I think quite a while. Like, you and Alerts have been the Twitter homies, as they say. Even though he hasn't been paying you your reparations.
No, he just keeps trying to play the victim about it. And it's like, oh, he's like, I've already paid. He's like, no, you haven't. And he's just like, oh, well, I'll get to it. And he like never does.
And yet he paid me for dinner.
Of course he did.
I don't think he ever paid me for dinner though.
Nah, he realizes that VLord can actually like get him something, so that's why he paid.
Yeah, Alerts didn't want me to cancel him.
Yeah, no, exactly.
But yeah, today we are doing a type of episode that's a bit different than usual that Winter pitched to us, where we've complained a lot before how there's too many Shogakukan magazines and platforms, and it's a whole confusing mess in a web of confusing contradictions. So we decided, let's go over and cover the various magazines and platforms owned by Shogakukan.
Yeah, I mean, I brought this up, like, not really for that reason, because I didn't know how many magazines they had, but I know they had some. But the big one was that a lot on social media, whether it's on TikTok or it's on Twitter or on, Reddit a bit, it's always about Shueisha stuff. Specifically Jump, right? Oh, this is Jump, that's Jump, this is Jump, that's Jump, this is, oh, no, this is Jump Square, this thing is in Jump Square, this is in Grand Jump, this is in Weekly Shonen Jump, this is Peak because this is in whatever Jump series. Attack on Titan is in Shonen Jump. I have seen that on Twitter. I kid you, TikTok, I kid you not. Someone's like, Attack on Titan is in Shonen Jump. No, it's not, bro. But it's, like, but the thing about it is, everyone seems to know deeply about Shueisha, whether it's Weekly Shonen Jump, Weekly Young Jump, Grand Jump, or whatever, right? Or even Jump Plus, their digital one. But what about Shogakukan? Because I feel like people forget that yes, Shueisha is one of the bigger one of the biggest manga publishers in Japan, but they're not the only one. Shogakukan's there, Kodansha's up there, and Shogakukan is one that in this case, I wanted to know more about. And so I kind of brought this idea up to I brought this idea up to you guys because I think it'd be something that's be informative for everybody. I think. Like I feel like Shogakukan is and their magazines are ones that are kind of overlooked in the West, at least in the online community, and I think it'd be something to help everyone. Like, hey, maybe if you're looking for something interesting or something a little different, then maybe check out Shogakukan magazine. Something in there.
Yeah. I think honestly for myself, like
Yeah.
I didn't really think too deeply about Shogakukan magazines until I met Sakaki, and like him being so enthusiastic about Shonen Sunday in particular made me more curious about like the other magazines that are really out there for Shogakukan. And now like actually having now bought like quite a few of the different Shogakukan magazines, especially after going to Japan and like seeing like physical issues of like big comic and guest on in person, it really kind of gives you like a different perspective of like the different vibes that even within like a single publisher there are. And I think among like the major like big four publishers, Shogakukan arguably has the most variety in terms of like tone.
Most diverse
Yes.
titles.
Totally.
Yeah,
Like diversity and then like breadth of
absolutely.
like different types of content, like in how they are both presented in the magazine format and then even within the magazines the variety of content there.
Yeah, I've noticed that as well.
Yeah, I mean, like, even just to, I mean, not to cut you off, but like, even just to kind of me even getting into that, I mean, people heard my backstory, so I'm not gonna go too deep into that. But like VLord, like, there was a time where I really didn't know much about like the different. I mean, I knew of the magazines after a while because I think it was like the advent of like Inuyasha and stuff that I realized, okay, these things come from different things, from different publishers. And I didn't really think about it. I mean, I thought Shonen was Shonen. They're all the same thing, even if they have different publishers. But it was when I started doing the blog and the Twitter that I started noticing, okay, Shonen Sunday, especially, like they all do different niche. They all have different niches. I feel like there was back a while ago, there was like more separation, but nowadays there is a little bit more where it's like each magazine is kind of encroaching on, I guess, each one's identity somewhat. Because like Jump used to be the pretty much the meathead magazine. Like,
yeah.
I mean, like the meathead. I say that endearingly. I love watching two dudes punch each other too. Like we're most of us, that was our gateway. It's two dudes punching each other. And that was what Jump was. But now you have stuff like Akane Banashi. I had this series in mind and now I lost it. But like, yeah, you have stuff like Akane Banashi. Unfortunately, what happened to Octage is sad, but that's another one. But even if with those, there's a strong competitive backbone to them. They feel like battle manga, even with like specific, even though they're not about, the traditional good versus evil. And in magazine, I feel like it's like more rough and oh yeah, we didn't even talk about Champion either, which is the Yankee magazine. Like all kinds of just gangsters and dudes, gang stuff. Like it's described by, because I translated an interview between the editor of Sunday and the editor of Magazine, and basically, like they kind of like the editor of Sunday, the past editor, Takenori Ichihara, he recently stepped down from the role, but he described Champion as kind of like a rough and tumble kind of like, the scrappy underdog magazine. And like Sunday, and then like the editor of Champion, which his name escapes me, but he kind of describes Sunday as like the cool older brother, which I feel like that I think that kind of conveys really what both magazines are, like at least those two. Magazine, I feel like Kodansha's magazine, I feel like that one's more, it's become like a rom-com.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, it really has been since like the quintessential quintuplets. I think that's where because of how successful that was, there was a shift to be like rom-coms, but now it's starting to be like more balanced, where they weren't like it wasn't heavy rom-coms. Now I think they're getting more action, adventure, and fantasy back now.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think like because of like the oversaturation of it. I mean, when one thing's
Hmm.
successful, everybody wants to do it, and then people get tired of it, and then they have to find other things. But I mean, getting back to Weekly Sunday, like I guess like I remember reading on the Japanese forum one time that because like it's no secret that Shogakukan is always the reason why they're the underdog is because they're the ones that's struggling the most. And I remember reading on the Japanese blog one time that they said, well, it doesn't feel like Shonen Sunday has much of an identity. And I found that interesting that Japanese people are saying that. And like it's I feel like it's a plus and a minus. It's a plus in the sense that there's just so much even in just Shonen Sunday, right? You have like a veterinary medicine manga, you have a hand surgery manga, you have your
Hmm.
action adventures, you have your harem, you have like stuff like Komi, you have Sleepy Princess, Call of the Night, all of these series that don't like even within their genres, they kind of defy like Call of the Night's sort of an action manga, but it's also sort of a rom com, but it's also not really either one. Um, like Sleepy Princess is a
Yeah.
comedy. It's kind of a screwball comedy, but it's also kind of like not. But it's like it's even within the same magazine, just the breadth of stories that Shogakukan has. I can kind of see how somebody looking at it is like, well, I don't know what to expect from this, other than the fact that it's the heroine magazine, which is, whenever I see people talking on Twitter about like, oh man, Shonen manga has such badly written women. They treat their female characters so badly. I just think to myself, Shonen Jump does.
Yeah. And I think that's the key part is like that's what they're always talking about because that's really what they all know.
Yeah,
And yeah, and, I mean, and really, I feel like it's more. It has changed in Weekly Shonen Jump, but you made a great point about Weekly Shonen Sunday, where I didn't notice the majority of their leads are women. Like I never noticed that actually, but you're right. Yeah,
yeah. I mean,
and yeah, go ahead.
they've been marketing themselves on that. Like I remember,
Oh,
like
okay.
as you know, like I cover Shonen Sunday every week, and I remember one time I saw an advertisement for like they're trying to get new authors, obviously, like foster new talent. Um, and on the flyer, you would think that the way that they advertise this is have a big picture of Conan because Conan is their Luffy. So, but no, Conan's actually really small in this advertisement, and the three big series they have, the three front runners, Komi, Nazuna, and I forgot the last one, Komi, Nazuna, and I, and that wasn't Megumi. It wasn't. It wasn't Suya from Sleeping
Megumi?
Princess either. It might have been Tsukasa from Tonikaku, but yeah, the three series that they basically what I'm getting at is just they put their female characters front and center. Like they don't even like and only Conan is at the bottom of the magazine just kind of like as a support.
Yeah.
Like oh shit, how can I forget? Yeah, it's Komi, Nazuna, and Freerin.
I was actually gonna say Free Rent. I was
Yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah.
no,
No,
maybe you think of an older one. So then,
Oh,
like,
that makes sense.
yeah. So that's why I was like, maybe
yeah,
not.
no,
Yeah. Okay.
no, yeah. How could I forget Freerin? She's like,
For shame.
If Conan, yeah, for shame on me. If Conan is the king of Sunday, she is the verifiable. So,
Really?
yeah,
So Free Rent is the verified queen of Sunday now.
yeah. I mean, at this point, yeah, because like Conan doesn't run super often.
No, I mean, sorry, Free Rent.
Freerin, yeah, no, no,
That's a queen.
yeah, yeah, no, she is the queen. No, I'm agreeing with you.
No,
But
no,
she,
I'm sorry. No, I'm asking you as a question because I
oh,
wasn't.
wow,
I'm not aware. I thought it would
okay,
be.
oh.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah. No, I mean it's cool because I really like Freeman. It's one of my favorite manga. But I mean, I was surprised about that because I honestly thought it would have been like um Homie or well, I don't know if the lead of Mal is a girl or not because I
I
didn't.
mean, she's Nanoka's. I guess. I mean, you kind of pair them, Mao and Nanoka, as the leads. I mean, like, definitely this time around, I feel like Nanaka has more agency than like Kagome, but like,
Yeah.
I mean, not to get off the subject too much. To answer your question, yeah, like Komi, I mean not Komi, Free Ren is definitely like the top thing in a magazine after Komi.
Okay.
After so,
Gotcha.
and on Conan only really, I mean, I won't. Well, I don't want to like make Conan sound like it has a cultural footprint at this point that like can't be. Conan is always going to be number one. I think even with Freeran, if Freeran gets to a point where it sells more, which it probably will, if it runs long enough, but even if it gets to that point, Conan just has been around so long and has such a foothold in Japanese culture that it's always going to be there as number one in the magazine. But as far as putting Conan aside, as far as like the heroines in the magazine, yeah, it's definitely Freeran, Komi, Nazuna. Then after that, maybe like I think the Mikado no siblings are coming up there.
So who now?
Mikado knows the Mikado knows. I don't know how to translate the title, but like the Mikado no Mikado no Sanshimai ga Angai Chorui, which I guess is something close to the Mikado no sisters are surprisingly easy. I don't like that translation. But,
Okay. I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
like that one's actually getting to be pretty big too. I wouldn't be surprised if an anime is being talked about. I'm kind of surprised Viz picked up like I want to do bad things with you over that.
I'm not.
Yeah, that surprised me. I thought this would get an anime first though, which is why I thought it would get picked up.
No, I'm not surprised. Is how etchy is this Mikado?
Makado's not itchy at all, actually. I mean, like it's a harem manga, but it's like pretty tame, all things.
It's like We Never Learned here.
Yeah, yeah, that's a good way of putting it. It's pretty tame. Like
okay, I guess. I mean, I think because I know there was the what was it? There was one that was in Weekly Shonen Sunday that just ended, and I forgot the name of it. But it was about I forgot what the name was of it, but I do know that it was like it was pretty etchy. I think
it might. I mean, if it's Nekoguchi, it's probably the heroine of this manga is Amane something. But yeah, Nekoguchi stuff is always kind of scratchy. Like
he wanted to draw ass.
I mean, yeah, he was Kazuhiro Fujita's assistant, and
it was the Kono, the Kono manga no heroine. Yeah, that was it.
Yeah.
So that was for some reason I thought the Mikadono one was very similar to that, and so I was like, that's probably why Viz didn't pick it up.
No, I feel like no. Like, yeah, Nekoguchi had his series before that. Amano Megumi is full of openings. Like, he knows what he wants, and it's to draw ass. Like, that's the thing he told. Like, when he was Fujita's assistant, Fujita's like, what kind of mangaka do you want to be? His answer was like, one that draws lots of ass. So, and, you know, that's what he's good for. Like, I mean, that series didn't last too long, unlike Megumi, which I feel like it was kind of like, that one was about, like, a kid wanted to be a mangaka, and, like, his like older sister figure would basically like model for him and stuff. Like she also obviously has the hots for him too, but like yeah, it was interesting because like it would have serious like commentary on the manga industry, but then it would have ass. So like it was like I just wonder what Nekoguchi was trying to do with that. But okay, I mean to get into like the basics, I guess to start with. Weekly Shonen Sunday is Weekly Shonen Sunday. It's kind of like I guess to start the basics is that Shueisha and Shogakukan, for people that don't know this, are actually just under the same umbrella. So like
Shueisha was under Shogakukan, right? I think I saw that. Like they were like a department under Shogakukan, and then they became independent a year later or something.
What's that? It?
Yeah, essentially. So, like nowadays, Shueisha is technically an independent company, but Shogakukan owns 50% of Shueisha.
Okay. Yeah.
Ah, dang.
Yeah. So like again, I made this joke on Twitter and people didn't like me for it, but I'm like, it's funny because all the every time like a One Piece fanboy says that Conan's lame, they're paying for Conan when they buy One Piece.
Oh no, you don't understand what you just did. I am totally going to be using that moving forward.
I mean, no, I've said
I'm
it. And every time a Conan fan turns around and says that One Piece is stupid or I don't like anything, I mean, me too. I play up not liking Jump. I'm fine with Jump. I don't read it as much as I used to, but I'm fine with Jump. But the reality is, every time you buy a Shueisha series, you are paying for more Conan. Every time you buy a Shogakukan series, you are paying for more One Piece. It's that kind of mutualistic relationship. So that's the basics of basics. So like you can't avoid it's like cable. You don't have many
right.
options. like so Weekly Shonen Sunday is like the shonen equivalent of Jump Magazine Champion Knock. Like as far I'm looking as far as like the mood for Shonen Sunday, it comes out every Wednesday. So that's let's start there. It is not coming out every Sunday. It comes out Wednesday. It used to be Tuesday, but then they switched it to Wednesday one day. And I think I don't remember the editor's name, and Toyoshi Kichi Toyota, I think. Either way, when he came up with the idea for the magazine, he wanted it to be something that people could relax and read, like on a Sunday afternoon. That's where the name comes from. But I don't think it's ever come out on a Sunday. so, um,
Mm.
and so like the mode for Sunday kind of just is a thing where it's like mostly again I like that how Ichihara described it in an interview that I translate. I'm going to be referring to that a lot, like which is that it's a very you don't see like a lot of the protagonists or they're like protagonists with jobs like they're looking forward to their careers. It's not a whole lot of like shouting your dreams to the top of their lungs or stuff like that. It's very like suave, kind of like even Conan. Like he's the kind of protagonist who's very like he's more intellectual than like you would expect out like a Jump protagonist or something. And then like the series I listed where most of these are about career. There was a series about the Japanese Defense Force in Weekly Shonen Sunday, and that's doing pretty well. I mean, then you have stuff like Maiko-san, which had a Netflix adaptation, which is literally about just food and the geisha. Um, I mean, you do have a couple of the action series like Tatari, Mao, I guess counts.
Hmm.
Um, action series. Actually, I guess there aren't that many right. I mean, free run's kind of like again the thing with Shonen Sunday stuff is like a lot of their stuff straddles genre, so it's like
Yeah.
hard to really say. Like free run, you could consider it a fantasy action series, but isn't really. Like just like Mao could be considered an action series, but it's also sort of a thriller mystery. So like it's kind of hard to nail down a Shonen Sunday series. Um, yeah, and the bigger series in it obviously are Frieren, Conan, uh, Mao. I guess it does fine. It's definitely not the Takahashi of yesteryear, I guess. Like she's still a household name, so Mao's never definitely not gonna get canceled or anything. But like
Hmm.
as far as like the hierarchy of the magazine, I think it's like below like Sleepy Princess slightly. So, um, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's as far as like Shonen Sunday goes. Um, yeah. I mean, even just to kind of go back to visit the history of Shonen a little bit, like Shonen magazines didn't start out with manga. They were like regular magazines that just had like nipples and stuff, and maybe one or two manga. Then one day, somebody was just kind of like, we should do it like a kid's lunch where they have a variety of different things in it. And Sun Sunday was one of those ones where they just kind of were throwing a bunch of things at the wall to see what would stick. So like Jump came later, so it had the advantage of kind of knowing what the other guy, because like Magazine and Sunday came the same year.
Oh yeah, gotcha. That's why. Okay, that's why I looked up and they saw like they were like direct competitors, but like
Yeah,
they didn't really mention Jump in that. Okay, so that's why.
yeah. Jump came afterwards, so it's like it's literally the Jumpstart kid. It could see what the other two had to struggle with and didn't do those things, and that's kind of how
Uh
they got ahead. Like, but yeah, that's Shonen Sunday. I mean, the thing with Shonen Sunday, at least with Shogakukan, as VLord mentioned earlier, It's just that I feel like Shogakukan's focus isn't so much on their shonen offerings. It's just kind of like it's a happy accident when they succeed. So like
Yeah.
because like Freerin was a thing, like yeah, they're happy that's doing well, obviously. And like Ichihara mentioned at one point, like when he saw the rough drafts for Freerin, he was like, "Yeah, this is going to be big. I can tell it is." But
Mm-hmm.
it seems like overall, Shonen Sunday is the kind of magazine where it's just kind of like they let, and this is kind of prevailing thought of Shogakukan overall. I feel like is like they're just kind of like draw what you want.
Yeah, I kind of noticed that because I was doing when I did the like genre breakdowns of like the various magazines. That's something I kind of noticed with Weekly Shonen Sunday. I think it was pretty diverse, and I feel like they've always had a point of draw what you want. You have creative freedom to draw and write whatever kind of story you want.
Yeah,
Which
like,
versus like with Weekly Shonen Magazine and Weekly Shonen Jump, where the former was draw, all action adventure or fantasy or or battle series, with maybe like a sports here or there or whatever, and the latter being draw a bunch of fantasy. Oh, sorry, no, yeah, it's that, and then it goes into Weekly Shonen Magazine was like draw a bunch of action adventure fantasy. And before that, I think was delinquent kind of stuff like Grand Teacher Onizuka, and whatever. And then eventually it's just like, oh, hey, the Quints are kicking butt. Draw harem rom-coms. Etchy if you want, whatever. And that's how we kind of get, like, we have series, like the very series, like Rent a Girlfriend, Girlfriend, Domestic Girlfriend, couple of Cuckoos, that kind of stuff. Cafe Terrace, like all of those. And with here and there of like, here's a sports, here's a fantasy or whatever. And with Weekly Shonen Jump, it was, action shonen, or sorry, action battle series, fantasy, action, that kind of stuff. Maybe with some romance, maybe with some sports, but mostly fantasy action.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I forgot who, wasn't it VLord, like, the father one?
Journal of My Father.
The Journey of Father, yeah. Like, what the author of that, like, his editor basically just told him, don't worry about selling, just draw what you want.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's just a prevailing attitude with shonen, like with Shogakukan overall. We're gonna probably say that a lot today, because like I look at shonen, because like looking at Shonen Sunday's like lineup right now, again, it's a lot of career manga, one or two action, Freering and Conan, and even right down to how they serialize series is like just like you'll have chapters of like Tonikaku Kawaii or Fly Me to the Moon.
Yeah.
Where they'll just be 8 pages for a week. Not because the author's sick or not because they don't, they just physically cannot draw more. It's just Hata, that's all he feels like drawing that week. That's all he needs to tell a story.
Yeah.
And Komi too will do that as well. It'll just be random chapters where it's like 4 pages and that's it.
Yeah, and I feel like it really comes down to the fact that you have to think about Shogakukan in a more holistic perspective, where it's like, in the grand scheme of this, they're one publisher within a much larger group, like the Hitotsubashi group, which is owned by like the Oga family, which is like one of the big like corporate families in Japan. And like within that structure, Shueisha's kind of their moneymaker in a way, because that's where all the top titles are from. That's your One Piece, your Spy Family, all that stuff. And then Shogakukan has basically become the prestige publisher for them, where you have your Urasawa titles, you have your Inyo Asano, but anything in between is like room to experiment, because they don't necessarily need a ton of hits, but because they're doing so many different types of stories, they get interesting hits out of that.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I think that our friend Maxie said it best once, where it's just like, at least with Shonen Sunday, it's like a hobby to them. Like it's fine if it does well. If it doesn't do well, that's fine too. Like, I mean, in recent years there has been a bit of a push to try to get Shonen Sunday a little bit more healthy, because there was a time where it was like in the red, like really in the red. When Ichihara took over, like his declaration is, "I'm going to write this ship," and for the most part, he did. I mean, some of his practices were kind of like, I mean, nothing bad, but like he focused a lot more on fostering the talent of the future than he did really like kind of working on a magazine of now. So we did have like a year where we only had like, I think the year that Free Run started, there was only like two serializations that year. It was like Free Run, one other thing, and like maybe two or three other things. It's not like Jump where you'll have serialization rounds like 4 or 5 times per year. Sunday might have 2.
Yeah. In general, like I feel like
I
most
see.
of the Shogakukan magazines are way less cutthroat than anything you see in Shueisha. Like series that don't sell could go on for years.
Yeah.
Daiku no Hato, where like probably like 5 people were buying it.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
you know, Hato. Yeah, yeah. It's like, and that's like, and you know, people have obviously said, well, that's why Shogakukan doesn't do well. But I mean, I like the way the VLord put it, which is like holistically, they don't. Why should they like if Shueisha is the fast food, then if Shogakukan's like the fine dining, and like Inio Asano's even gone on to say like the big comic and the Shogakukan seinen magazines are like prestige. Getting into those and running in those, that's like the cream of the crop. Like Ultra Jump and all of the other, like, I mean, well, I don't want to say all the other jumping magazines, but like others, I mean, seinen, excuse me, other seinen magazines. I'm not saying that they're necessarily bad, but it's like big comic is seen as the standard.
Yeah, and like when you when you go to like bookstores in Japan, yeah, there's a decent Shonen Sunday section, but the amount of section they had for big comic was really large.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. No, I mean, now that we've actually had, you know, feet down in Japan, we can kind of speak from that point of view. Like, yeah, the Shogakukan like presence was like immense. I mean, obviously Shueisha was still bigger because like that's the moneymaker, but
Yeah.
like just the way that Shogakukan was like featured, like even in Japan, we even got to see their headquarters in Japan too. And like Shueisha's looks like a prison. I'll never get over that. Because like, no, it's like there's a sign that just says Shueisha out front, and like we didn't even see it at first. VLord pointed it out, and then that's when we saw it. Because we were in Japan, so we were like, we have to go see the Shogakukan building. So we went to the Shogakukan building, not knowing Shueisha was next door, and we like walked by the Shueisha building, and it's like this nondescript building with just a Shueisha sign out front. And then you go to the Shogakukan building, they have like the automatic door. They have like Kaito Kid and Conan in front, and there's like a TV advertising different Shogakukan movies. There's a Doraemon cafe next door where they go to like where people can go and have their like manuscripts read. Like it's just the culture of like Shogakukan just being like the bougie, the prestige part of like the publisher. Like Shueisha is the McDonald's. It's like, but like it's just. I mean, hey, you know, we all like going to McDonald's once in a while, so it's like I don't mean that in a bad way. Like, but not to belabor the point too much. Like going on, like, there's also Sunday Webry, which is So this is where things get complex. Like Shonen Jump has, and like Kodansha has Magazine Pocket. And I think that's it, right? Magazine Pocket, and then everything.
They also have Comic Days, which is online now too.
Yes. Okay, Comic Days, but that's it for the most part. Shueisha has Jump Plus.
They have Jump Plus, Manga Me.
Tonari no Young Jump.
Thank you. That's it. Tonari no Young Jump. Yeah, those are the 3 I'm aware of.
And that's pretty much it. Shogakukan has Sunday Webry, Yawaraka Spirits, Manga One,
Ura Sunday. They do.
Ura Sunday, Heroes. And the thing about all this is, and then all of the millions and millions of Koros. And just, God. Oh, yeah, that's right. Jump also has like V Jump and
Psycho Jump.
Yeah. So I was about to go to Webry, but it's kind of hard to describe what Webry is. It's like, I guess it's sort of like Jump Plus, but not really? Because like there's stuff on Shonen Sunday that'll run on Webry. Like a lot of the stuff that runs in the magazines is dumped on Webry too for you to read. For free.
Right.
So like for the most part.
Yeah, which is similar to Jump Plus.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
the only thing is it's not everything. Not so there's some stuff that's like on Ura Sunday and manga, and then Manga One and Ura Sunday, they seem to be the same thing, but they're not. They're,
Yeah, I mean, like, the way I now see this, like, Manga 1 is the app version of Ura Sunday, and generally chapters come out sooner on Manga 1.
okay.
Okay.
And like, unlike, and the thing about like the Shogakukan stuff too is like the stuff, you need the actual app to read them. Like Webry, you don't. You can read Webry like just on the browser, but like for Manga One, at least I've tried several times. I can't get it without, and you need like Japanese phone and all a Japanese account.
Oh, so they're region locking that.
Yeah, essentially. Like
Yeah.
okay.
I mean, you can get it off like an Android phone if you use like different types of apps to like download like international apps, but like there's no easy way to do it. You have to like jump through a bunch of hoops.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Oh.
And like so that's what makes it easier to like, because like I've been on Comic Days, I've been on Manga Pocket, and like you could just get one of those.
Yeah.
You don't have to download anything additional. But Manga One, like Ura Sunday Manga One, yeah.
Well, for Ura Sunday, you can access that just on the web.
Oh, right, you're right. Yeah, you're right. And then even Ura Sunday, apparently VLord and I discovered they have like a Josei imprint. So, like, which we had no idea. So, because remember, we were like, because when we were in Japan, they were like we kept seeing sites advertising Firefly Marriage as a shoujo. They were like, no, it runs a Ura Sunday. It's not a shoujo. But then when we actually got a copy of Firefly Marriage, in Japanese, it says Ura Sunday Joshibu, which is like the female like department. So apparently Ura Sunday even splits that up.
Yeah, and then when I looked into it more, so like certain titles like say How Do We Relationship, Himachi, Firefly Wedding, Promised Cinderella, Ladies on Top, they've all been a part of this like Josei imprint that they don't actually mention on the Ura Sunday site, but it's mentioned in the actual books. Which is interesting, because I guess, like, the intention is, like, the platform itself is kind of just aimed at the normal shonen audience, but then for the volume releases, they wanted to aim specifically at that Josei audience.
Interesting.
Yeah, so, like, it's like, it's just, and then you'll have, like some releases, for example, that'll be, like, Shonen Sunday Comic Special, and they're just a little bit bigger. They like, for example, Michael-san doesn't go on sale the same day as the rest of the Shonen Sunday stuff for whatever reason, and it's slightly more expensive. So, and they'll have certain series like that, and then they'll have like there's another series, Hotel Inhumans, which is it runs on Webry, but also runs in Sunday GX, but is considered a shonen manga. But it's under the Shonen Sunday Special label. So it's a mess. It really is a mess.
Gotcha. Because I know, like, for because I know like some of the notable series from Ura Sunday are like Battle in 5 Seconds, which is in English. It's in
Kamagi.
Thank you, Comic Key. Thank you. I was thinking Comic Days. I'm like, nope, it's not that. No, yeah, Comic Key, Mob Psycho 100, and Helk. I was surprised Mob Psycho was there, but yeah, like
Mob Psycho was that was Shogakukan. That ran in Ura Sunday.
Well, I knew it was Shogakukan. I just didn't know it was Ura Sunday. I thought it was actually in a printed magazine.
No, it's Ura Sunday. Yeah, like Helk too, and then you see all of those are different publishers too. Like Viz has Helk. As Mob, and what was the other one?
Comic Key has Battle. Yeah.
Then Kengan Ajra is like one of their other big ones.
Yeah, and they have the other one, Star.
Yeah, Star Strike It Rich, which is super
Yeah.
good.
Oh yeah.
Which is just basically Oshinoko and Kengan combined.
Yeah, it's great. Then there's stuff like Goodnight World as well, which just got like an anime on Netflix.
Yeah.
Oh, I know that's okay. I know that's in that one.
Okay, so like yeah, it's interesting. I mean, going back to Shonen, Monthly Shonen Sunday, yeah, that one is an odd one where it's like that and Gesson, they're both technically monthly because so there's Shonen Sunday Super, and then there's Gesson, which is Monthly Shonen Sunday, which Gesson is Gekon Sunday. Gekon is monthly, so they just combined it into one word and making Gesson, get the sun.
Oh, okay.
So like when you're referring to Monthly Shonen Sunday, that's Gesson, which is I guess analogous to Jump Square kind of.
Mm-hmm.
Like as in it's shonen, but it's like on that far fringe of shonen because like one of the series in Gesson, which really I should even be doing a thread about today, but I'm probably not. One of the series in Gesson is like it's a rom-com about two people working in a condom factory. Like Soko Hataraku Busubu-san. Yeah, that one runs in Gesson. Another series that runs in Gesson that just started is about like three sisters that all graduated from like this prestigious Tokyo university and how their lives have changed or not changed because of their education. So and that runs a Gesson. Like the guy that did Nichicho, Keiichi Arui, he has a series in Gesson, Amamiya-san, which I'm kind of surprised has been. That's just random like comedy. It's fun though, but yeah, it's very much in style with Nichicho. He's in there, like the guy that did Detroit Rock City, I think.
Detroit Metal
Yeah.
City.
Yeah.
Detroit Metal City.
Yeah, Detroit. That's it. He's doing a series in Gesson.
That's what
It's
happened
about
to
a
him.
manga. It's about a mangaka where a lady who's a mangaka, but she's also like at the center of like these weird things going on around her. So it basically, I don't want to go into the whole magazine because you can check out the thread when I get around to it on that. But basically, it's like sort of shonen, but not really. It's like the stuff that
Kind of pushing the edge, right? It's kind of like
it's like right there where it's stuff that's like technically could run in Sunday, but doesn't because it's like probably maybe a little bit more mature than what the regular Shonen Sunday audience would be. And then Sunday Super is basically kind of like I guess it's kind of like the spin-off magazine, sort of, because like all the Conan movie spin-offs run in there. Is
that Shonen Sunday S or is that a different thing?
Yeah, that's Sunday Super. The S is for Super.
You said like I guess it's mostly a spin-off. Okay, because like so going for like going for that one, like I think I had looked up and I saw like the theme of it's like two themes and they're kind of like opposites of one another. So one is like it's a short-term serialization for established Shogakukan mangaka. And then that's like one theme it has, and like the other theme of it is that it's a magazine for like up and coming mangaka to kind of break into the industry.
So it's more the latter nowadays. At one point, yeah, because you had like the likes of Fukuchi Tsubasa in Sunday Super for a while back, and like other like mangaka have been there. But nowadays, I feel like it's more the stomping ground for new people to get in there because like most of the magazine is like and for spin-offs because like again Yashahime runs in Sunday Super.
Yeah.
Like the Conan movie spin-offs all run there. Sometimes you'll have two of them at a time in there. Like what else is it? Sunday
King
Super.
Golf.
Yeah, King Golf is there. That moved from where didn't I think it's always been there. Yeah, and then like other things that ran in Sunday Super in the past was Mushi Bugyo. Like Megumi and Mushi Bugyo both ran in Sunday Super, but I think Megumi just got to a point where it was so popular that they moved it to Weekly Sunday, and then Mushi Bugyo actually got canceled, then rebooted in Weekly Sunday. So like they're technically two different series with the same characters, but with different continuities.
Gotcha.
So that Sunday Super is kind of like, so nowadays it is more about newer series. Like they'll have this thing called Sunday Battle 8, where they have like the theme of that basically is 8-page stories, and they have a different theme every, I want to say, month. So
Mhm.
1 month might be like school series, 1 month might be battle, one might be romance, and you're only allowed 8 pages to tell your story. And sometimes you'll have like it'll be, most of the time it's newbies,
Yeah.
but sometimes you'll have the odd like Yellow Tanabe from Kikaishi. She had one at one point. So, which was like, it was really cool. It was like kind of a Yuri, like kind of like a witch story, but it was only 8 pages. I really hope she turns that into a series someday because it was like really, really good. But yeah, for the most part, Sunday Super, like, oh yeah, like Hiroyuki Nishi also has a series in there, Kanakana. So you do have that mix. Yeah, so I guess you're not wrong. It's that mix of like new and old in there. But for the most part, I feel like it's more of a magazine where they're trying to get like new people noticed. And I guess sort of Webry kind of functions like that too.
Yeah.
Like Shogakukan's big thing right now is because maybe again because they're like more, they're able to be more lax, that they have a lot of push on trying to get new people. Because like every
Yeah.
year, Weekly Shonen Sunday will have a feature. Well, they'll have just like 2 pages of all the artists that they want to have debut this year, whether it's just as a one shot or a new series, or, and a lot of times those artists usually pop up in Webry or Super. They
hmm
usually don't pop up in Weekly Sunday, but Weekly Sunday is like, think of it as like the front facing of the
Right.
of the, because I mean the shonen magazines are pretty much the front facing of all the publishers, because generally speaking, like you can only have so much of an audience for seinen manga, obviously, because kids aren't going to be reading seinen, and you can only have so much of an audience for like josei and seinen. While shonen, for the most part, anybody can read that. So like that's, it makes sense that those are kind of like what you see, like Jump Magazine, Champion, Sunday, and then as you age, you might, you know, graduate past those or stick with them, and then go to like something like Big Comic or one of the Josei magazines, which I admit I have very little knowledge of. So I can only do so much, and I pretty much staked my claim in the shonen and seinen side of things. So as we start going into like the more shoujo and josei, I'm going to be probably useless.
Oh, okay.
But I mean I do know, like, because like Flower is Shogakukan, right?
Yeah, that's the Don't
Yes.
Call It Mystery magazine.
Yes.
Yep.
And what magazine is the one that now that the artist that did Gold Kingdom, Water Kingdom, like her series?
I think
Is that
that's
Flower?
also Flowers.
Okay, that's Flowers. Okay, so from the little bit I know about Flower, because like there's Flower and then there's Flower Plus, which is like, or I don't know if it's called Flower Plus, but like essentially there, I want to say that like Flower is kind of like your more standard shojo. Even though it still has a breadth of like different things in it. Um, and then Flower Plus is your more racy stuff.
Really? So like what kind of stuff in that case would be in Flowers Plus?
Well, let me look it up actually while we're here. You guys can definitely feel free to talk it up a bit. But I mean, while I'm looking that up, like I'm looking Chow's kind of like the shoujo, like younger, like kids, like little girls.
hmm
I think stuff like, and you have like I guess you could kind of call it like the Psycho Jump for, but for girls, because like they have like the Nintendo stuff that runs in it, like the Animal Crossing. I feel like the Animal Crossing manga runs there. Animal Crossing manga runs there, because I know there's one that's in Koro Koro as well.
Yeah, it's the one that we don't have in English.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So that's like, it's basically like the tie-in stuff. Like if the boys have Koro Koro, then the girls have like Chow.
Yeah. I mean, it's
Gotcha.
interesting because even in LA, like, you don't get a lot of, like, shoujo magazines, like unless you request them from stores. But I always see issues of Chow at Book Off.
Yeah, I think sometimes at my Kinokuniya, like I'll see a bunch of like Weekly Shonen Jump. I'll see like Koro, and then I'll see like one Chow.
Yeah, no, that's really the same in the one in LA too.
Yeah,
It's really
Yeah.
amazing. But
I mean they have
but,
Big Comic Original though for the
Yeah,
older
Yeah, it's
people.
asked for this.
yeah, that's fair.
So, like, while you're still looking that up, for Flowers, like going back to Flowers, yeah, that's the one that it has like, don't call it mystery in it. The Poe clan, which I think someone just licensed, was it Fantagraphic?
Yeah, the Fantagraphics released it a while back, and in a beautiful like
Gotcha.
hardcover release.
So I'm looking it up now, and
Yep.
yeah, there is another Poe clan running right now in Flowers.
Yeah.
On Flowers, yeah. So, what else?
And of
is
course, there's like the insanely long running in America, Kaze Hikaru.
God, it's never gonna end.
It's not no.
No. Oh, there's the Fushugi Yugi running. Well, it's on.
Yeah,
Hiatus
it's
right
Byako
now.
Senki.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That, and then yeah,
So-
I see Iwamoto. I'm pretty sure I said the wrong name earlier. Iwamoto now, yeah, that's in Flower.
And then Yuki Kodama is like current series, the creator of Kids on the Slope. Like her thing,
Yeah.
Anohana Utsuwa no Mori is also in Flowers.
Wait, I've seen like Daughter of the Wolf. I'm not sure if I'm translating this correctly. Hold on. Oh. And there's no, of course, there's no link to it. Japanese Wiki had one job. Yeah, Yuki Kodama, Daughter of the Wolf is what the English translation is. I don't know what it would be in Japanese because there's so many different readings to that word. But yeah, it looks like Yuki Kodama has Daughter of the Wolf running in here.
Akimi Yoshida has Utagawa, or Utagawa Yake? I guess Umachi Diary.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, Umamachi Diary. I see that at like bookstores all the
Yeah.
time.
Yeah. Okay, I see it. Yeah, I see it. And then like there are a couple that are on hiatus too. But yeah, I mean, it looks like Flowers is just kind of like.
I mean, I feel like
It looks like. I mean, it looks like it's a. At least Japanese wiki is making it sound like it's like for older women.
I mean, it's a Josei magazine.
Oh, it's a joke. Oh, okay, it's a joke.
Yeah.
Okay. It's
Do
weird.
you happen
because
to know
they
like
have-
the theme of it? Like, does it say like what's the theme or the objective or goal of Flower? Do they mention that in there?
It basically it's kind of a thing where it's like women in their 30s who love manga for girls. So it's kind of like this is what you might have been reading if you were younger, but you're in your 30s now.
Okay.
So and wow, celebrating its 20th anniversary in 2022.
Yeah. I mean, I guess that makes sense because I feel like just based on what I've read from Flowers, it definitely feels like something that kind of also ran in like a shoujo magazine that was aimed younger.
Yeah. So it's like, yeah, so I guess the overall, like what you said, like, what the wiki says there, the Japanese wiki, is that it's directed at older women, but it's something that they would read as girls or really as maybe as teenagers more so.
It's
Not really
like,
as like, not compared to like Chow, I guess, but more so like, you'd be like mid-teens, upper teens, and this would be something to like grab you or to draw you in.
yeah, exactly. That's a good way of putting it. Like this is the kind of thing like I don't want to necessarily say for women that haven't grown up, but I guess that's kind of what they're implying, that you're still in love with that stuff that you loved when you were a kid.
I see.
Yeah, something along those lines.
Yeah. I feel like there's probably a Colleen manga rec video that explains this a lot better.
Yeah, like listen, like I'm just gonna say it here. I mean, I was going to wait till next year. I was going to wait till like in January to say this, but I'm willing to pair up with anybody that's better at shoujo and josei because I really want to cover those, but I can only do so much by myself.
I mean, I think Vampy would be able to help you a lot. with
Oh yeah,
that.
no, I 100% I would love anybody that knows their shoujo, and I really mean knows their shoujo. Like I would love to pair up with you because like I'm doing my best. And like doing we're paired with alerts now to kind of and VLord to kind of do like the domestic releases because it's basically a whole career to just do the Japanese stuff, and that's just
Yeah.
shoujo shonen and seinen. Like I'm dying, help me.
Yeah. It's like
But-
it's a whole nother
but-
ballpark too in a way, because like especially when you go into like Kinokuniya's and like other places that sell Japanese books, you'll see these like really giant like shoujo sections. A lot of it is Shogakukan, but like
Mhm.
unless it's a series from like an author that I've read before, it's really hard to like parse through all the different series that are out there.
Yeah. I mean, I think whoever you pair with, since you read Japanese pretty well, like you can really open up and provide a lot of context, especially I feel like for the shoujosei community or the aspects, because this could like help expose more series to that community, to the community, whether it's them or whether it's like outside of that community itself.
Yeah, no, I mean,
yeah.
no, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No. I was just gonna say, yeah, I think that would be very helpful because I think that this could be, with your context of the language, you could help like get more. You could help expose newer more titles that aren't talked about, that are not licensed, that could be suggested to be licensed and stuff like that, instead of like some of the ones that many of them who have been licensed, like Don't Call It Mystery has already been licensed. Now, yeah, there needs to be more purchases of the series, but in the West or in North America, but like what about some other ones that are in Flowers? Maybe some that had just ended in Flowers, right? Or when I say just ended, I mean maybe like 5 years ago, because these are monthly, but something like that. Same with which we'll get into a little later, which is in Shokomi or Chow or Petit Comic, like that kind of stuff. And I think with the context that you have, or your experience with the language, I think that could be very helpful for the community as a whole, whether it's the shoujosei community or outside of that.
Yeah, no, I mean, I know it would be easy to like, just well, I know it'd be easy. I'd rather pair with other people than to just like.
No, that's what I mean. Yeah, like
no, I get what you're saying. I'm just explaining my.
Gotcha.
Yeah, no, I understand what you're saying. I know it would be easier to just make WSST be that platform that just does everything, but I'd rather pair up and like boost somebody else that knows their stuff in that regard than to just try to do it myself or like just hire somebody and have them do it within me. I'd rather because like
you want to spread that, want to have that knowledge spread. You don't want to have a monopoly on it.
Yeah, I want to grow the community because one day there's going to be a day that I can't do this anymore or don't want to, and I'd rather have somebody else that can step in and do it than to just be like, well, I monopolize everything, so now there's just a power vacuum left. I mean, I'm definitely not looking to retire anytime soon. I enjoy this.
I was gonna say you're not that old yet.
No, I'd be like, I'm pushing 40, but I'm still gonna be doing this. I love doing this, and I love sharing my knowledge with everybody. But yeah, there is likely going to be a time where I can't or just get tired of it, and I would rather train the next batch, next generations, than to help them grow than to just keep it all to myself. But I mean, getting back to the because now I'm on the Betsukami Betsukomi site and Shokomi. So Betsukomi looks like it's for senior high school students.
Okay.
It
So what
comes
makes
out-
you say that?
I'm on
Just-
Japanese wiki.
no, I know, but so they just say like it's
Yeah,
for
they just-
senior high school. Oh, okay.
Oh yeah, it just says it's for senior high school students.
Oh, okay.
I'm looking at the series that run in this. Oh, okay. The Yuzuki-san the four brothers of the Yuzuki family that runs. In this.
Oh, that's them.
Yeah, that runs in this. I don't know anything else here that anybody would know because like even the Japanese wiki doesn't have any like links to most of these. Seven like for stuff that used to run in this. 7Cs used to run in this magazine.
Well,
Kazuki
yeah,
Haru
it
also-
moved from there to
Banana
like
Fish
flowers,
did, too.
I think.
It moved from there to flowers.
Yeah.
Yes, that's what it says.
And then,
Here.
like,
Oh,
Bazaar
and
was there.
Queen's Quality.
Yeah, Queen's Quality, QQ Sweeper.
Oh yeah, no, it is here. Oh shit. Okay, yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Seven Seeds, Hot Gimmick.
But I think even Queen's
Yeah.
Quality moved to flowers eventually.
Well,
Yeah.
no, according to this, it's still there.
Is it?
Yeah, it's still it's
Yeah.
still there. It's on the. I'm looking at the English Wikipedia, and it still shows Queen's Quality as under Betsukomi.
Yeah, and Japanese wiki says the same thing. I mean, it says as of a month ago, so I doubt it's moved in that time. So
Right. Kaze Hikaru, yeah.
yes.
Oh,
So, like,
Basara.
Yeah. So I mean, just looking at kind of some of the I mean, again, there aren't many titles that I know offhand. Just looking at what's here, so we can definitely look at some of the older stuff that ran in here. And again, like you have 7Cs,
Yeah.
Kazuhikaru, Yasha, Yoshida.
Yeah, that's the creator Banana Fish.
That's why I recognize the name.
The what?
The creator of Banana Fish.
Oh, yeah, because Banana Fish was in here. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Dangeki Daisy, that's another notable one.
Blackbird. So
So,
okay, so basically, nearly everything by Yumi Tamura, except for Don't Call It Mystery, seemed to be in here. Seemed to be in this magazine.
yeah, and then like the original Po no Ichizoku was here.
They were
Um,
11, which Dempo will eventually release.
Yeah, so like I guess I mean I haven't read a lot of these series. I know I'm bad, but wow, there aren't many.
Oh, they were
Which I
11.
guess-
It's just one volume.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just
Oh,
a pain to
okay.
work on. It is interesting though, because a lot
Uh,
of these Betsukomi series are licensed, like Sand Chronicles, Hot Gimmick, Doubt.
Mm.
So yeah, if you want to read a lot of these, you can just go on the Viz app, I guess.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, no. I mean, for the most part, a lot of them are just like you just click on one randomly, and it's just like, oh, Viz Media. This one, oh, Viz Media.
So yeah, I mean, like I guess like from people who are from VLord, you probably have more experience with this than me. Like, would you agree that they fit that kind of basically high schooler demographic?
Yeah, I'd say so. Like a lot of these, like
Oh.
I'd say Basara and like probably less so Banana Fish, but I guess maybe like Kaze Hikaru and like the Dangeki Daisy, those definitely feel very much more high school aimed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah. So, and then going back to Petit Comic.
I would say like Queen's Quality as well. Is-
Yeah.
I feel like is a very high school focus, or like it's directed towards like high school age people.
Yeah,
Which just in case someone doesn't take that wrong, because I can totally feel someone start like rage typing. That's not a bad thing. It's just a statement, especially if the magazine is like, hey, this is for high school, high schoolers, mostly high school women or high school girls. I mean, then yeah, I mean, it kind of makes sense. It kind of tracks with some of the series in there and how they are, and that's fine. I mean, it's it's doing its goal, it's doing its job.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I just think people should really free themselves from the label of demographic. If you like something,
Yeah.
Demos
Oh
aren't
no,
even
100%,
like
100%.
demos aren't even
I
all that
agree.
accurate, because if you look at the actual gender breakdown of like the people that read these comics, it's not just like predominantly the target demo.
Even even jumping out of like Shogakukan, if we talk about like anything with Square Enix, like G Fantasy or whatever, or Gangan, it's like, yeah, these are shonen series, but like women are the predominant.
I mean, you could argue that with pretty much every shonen. Like most of the shonen that we love,
Maybe not Weekly Shonen Jump, although I think they've
still Weekly Shonen
Really?
Jump.
Jump. Like
Yeah,
as
no,
the guy that translated Gintama, all women.
Yeah,
Okay.
like a lot of Jump series
okay.
are gonna
I thought
be
they were
like
getting close to be like half and half now, but I thought it was still like, I thought it was still like it's still majority of male readers.
So here's
And-
the thing: at
and
least
then-
as far as like Japanese readers,
Yeah,
women are more vocal. I'm not even Japanese readers. I would say worldwide, women are more vocal about what they like.
yeah,
And the dudes will just sit there and read in silence and just be like, haha, that's cool. And that's it. But like
Yeah.
girls will run out and support that stuff. A lot of the stuff that we love, that we read and enjoy, is because fangirls loved it.
yeah. No, 100%. That's what saves
So-
Gundam.
I mean, yeah, exactly. Like most of the stuff, the ladies, you're supporting us. Like everything, it's because of them going
Which
out
I-
there. And,
Yeah, which I do feel like it's a very like dismissed sentiment. Like like that situation is very dismissed, but it's incredibly important to realize.
yeah,
Um,
no,
Yeah,
it's super important to realize that. So like, but I mean, going back to what I said, I mean, if you like
Yeah.
something, you just read it. Like, don't
yeah,
worry
exactly.
about it. just I just haven't read that much shojo just because again I'm just so busy with the shonen that I'm slowly trying to break into reading, like getting into more shojo. Like since I met my fiance, like she's been exposing me to more shojo and I've been enjoying it. So like I definitely want to read more. It's just finding the time to do so.
I mean, you enjoyed the Don't
But-
Call It Mystery movie, didn't you?
Yeah, I did for what I understood of it. like we did. I mean, like, and that's swept over Japan in a big way. Like,
Yeah, no, that was doing like insane.
Yeah.
yeah,
You would
Like,
go into
man.
like random stores in Japan and they'd be selling like Totono's curry just like next to a bunch of books.
yeah, and they had the like Sanrio for Sanrio Don't Call It Mystery crossover, which I got a shirt of that, which is just the characters as like Hello Kitty characters, and it was like big, like over
Yeah.
there. You could not get away from it. But yeah, let me see.
So I know another one that we had mentioned. So I think with Shokomi, I'm sorry, no, we were Betsukomi, but like I know it was Shokomi. They had notable series like Red River, Fushigi Yugi. I think the OG Fushigi Yugi. The fifth arc of Cyborg 009. So yeah, Cyborg 009 is a shonen and a shoujo. And then I think recently, like their current notable series is the Seishun Heavy Rotation.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I've heard of that one. Like I haven't read it, but I know of it.
I have not heard of it at all until doing research on it.
So yeah, and it's still running since oh shit, it really just started 2020. I mean, since this is a monthly series too, it's not like that's the kind of thing that like has a bunch of chapters out. Like, yeah, okay, wow. Yeah, so Shokomi is for junior high school to high school girls, like middle schoolers, high schoolers, from what Japanese wiki says.
You know, that kind of makes sense because like I saw like Gabakawa.
Yeah, Gabakawa.
Gabakawa,
So cute it hurts.
Yeah, like those and like Happy Hustle High. Yeah, like I could see that. Like it's they have a mix of mostly for middle school or junior high school girls, and then also I guess girls who just got into high school, so like freshmen, maybe sophomore.
Yeah, and then like there's also another magazine. It was called Shokomi Extra Edition, and it used to be released on the 15th of every odd month, but they rebranded it Shokomi X, and I think it's still from the December 15th. Yeah, so it still releases on the 15th of the month. I mean, essentially, it's kind of like the Sunday Super of Shokomi, where it's like one shots and like extra stories from the main magazine. So, And then like there are a few serial series. Huh, that's interesting. There are a few serial series of it, but like then a lot of these, some of them it looks like they were transferred from other magazines. Like I see one that was transferred from Flowers, like this title, Kuzuto Kimono. Okay, there's another one that was transferred from Flowers. So a few of them were transferred from Flowers, and there are a couple of like. So it started in 2019, but it looks like they only started doing actual serials in 2021. So I guess before that, they were just throwing in kind of one shots and like extra stories from like the main Shokomi. But
Gotcha.
now in 2020, but in 2021, that's when they actually started having like they've had their own series in that magazine, which is interesting to me because like they're like, oh, I see. So this one is like twice a month. Okay. So that
Okay.
makes more sense. Because I was about to say, why have like, well, even though Shogakukan's a mess. Like
Who would have guessed?
yeah, I mean like I was about to say, why have two monthly shoujo magazines? We're like, okay, but this makes sense. This one's bi-weekly essentially. Well, Flowers is monthly. And then Petite Comic just past this page. I mean, I'll find it again. But like, yeah. So, I mean, as for people that don't know, there is no such thing as like a weekly shoujo magazine for whatever reason. So, like, seinen have it. I don't think there's even a weekly josei. Like, just the girls, they have to wait. They get twice a month. That's the best they get. Why that is, no idea. But yeah. But yeah, it looks like okay. Here I found. Does that come out? That comes out it's a quarterly publication for Petite. So it's like I guess every 4 months. So yeah. So like I mean, basically, even though there isn't a weekly shoujo magazine, you're getting covered in some way because you have Flowers once a month. You have Shokomi every other week. And then you have this one at quarterly. Petite. So yeah, you're getting covered.
Okay. So Petite is quarterly.
Yeah, Petite is quarterly, and it looks like it's for women in their 20s. It's interesting that name. If you think with that name that it would be for little girls, but no, it's for women in their 20s apparently.
Yeah, because looking through it, like do a little research, like it seemed like it was, like the theme of Petite Comic is like it's an anthology focused magazine, and it's an anthology magazine, and the focus of it is romance, but the difference is that it's very explicit in its sexual situations. Like you're not really going to get it, I guess, I don't really know, so you can correct me on this, or it's not like they would maybe fade to black or they'll just stick to a kiss. It's like, nah, they're gonna actually get down to business kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, like, I'm not seeing anything specifically saying that in the Japanese wiki, but I mean, they're saying their catchphrase is like, love is like a manga, or manga, a love like a manga. So, like, it started off quarterly, then went to bi-monthly in 1978. And then, yeah, Target, hold on. The Target, yeah, and it's always been like for women in their 20s. So that makes sense. A new excitement for girls manga was how they advertised it in 1977 when it first started. A wonderful teen romantic comic. So it feels like it started off for teens at one point.
And then just changed the age.
It just sort of kind of kept aging with its, like, I guess, demographic. So that's interesting. But yeah, I don't see anything like necessarily saying that it's more racy or not racy. But I mean,
yeah. So the English Wikipedia page says for Petite Comic that many series in this anthology magazine are romance oriented, and some are well known for featuring frank depictions of sexual situations.
Which I mean I definitely don't want to make it sound like that's wrong. I don't know, but like it there's again nothing specifically saying that in the Japanese wiki page. And,
yeah,
I mean, but from the age range that they're going with, which is again women in their 20s, that doesn't surprise me.
Gotcha.
So like yeah, so that's yeah, that sounds about right. So then we were
And I guess this should be the final Shoujo magazine, which would be Cheese.
okay. So let's have a look.
I know. I think Vampy and I have talked about. She's told me about Cheese a little bit, which is very. So the theme around is around romance and mature relationships, but it's kind of like I think from what she told me, maybe it's kind of they have a lot of smutty kind of titles.
Yeah, they do. Like Yakuza Lovers, they're
Yeah.
notable one.
I mean, well, according to Japanese wikis, for girls they're between 18 and 25, so slightly older than petite. So yeah, that that checks out.
It also has like the King's Beast and Dawn of the Arcana, which I haven't read yet, so I don't know if those are really like that, but I do know a lot of people love those series, so
Yeah,
maybe not.
King's Beast isn't really like smutty or anything, but it is a lot darker than like I'd say like I guess compared to say like a Shokomi like fantasy type title. So I guess it kind of falls into that more older skewing bucket if it is going upwards to like age 25.
Yeah.
Yeah, because saying 18, it's a monthly, it comes out the 24th of every month, 18 to 25. And the catchphrase for this is, God, sorry, for women, stories of love are essential, is what the catch copy seems to be, or a catchphrase. So yeah, that seems to tie in with what we're all talking about. And then looking at the series, I mean, you guys have mentioned series that are in it, so
Yeah.
I don't recognize any of these. I see the King's Beast.
Coffee Vanilla, I think it's like a
Yeah, Coffee and Vanilla.
prevalent
That's been running since 2015.
Yeah, I know that one's pretty sexual.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's what Vampy told me about.
yeah. Like looking at some of the past stuff. Do I recognize it? I mean, I'm not surprised that I don't.
I
but,
mean,
like,
some of them your wife likes though. You should know this.
I should. And it's funny because they have like no anime adaptations. Like they have a bunch of dramas for their
Yeah.
stuff, but there are no anime adaptations of anything in this magazine. So that's really interesting.
I mean, I feel that's the story for a lot of shoujo josei though.
I mean, yeah, no, you're not wrong. You're not. And then there's Cheese Premiere, which they have a link. When you click the link to it, it goes back to Cheese. So I have no idea what that
It's
is.
just more premium cheese.
Yeah,
They go
I
from
guess.
American to Gouda.
I guess so, shit. Because like, there's nothing else here that says what it is. Okay, so yeah. Okay, so yeah, so I guess like in that hierarchy, you have like I guess so Flowers is like it's Josei, yeah, like you said. Flowers is Josei. Like Chow is basically like okay, actually yeah, I guess we haven't talked about the where is Chow? Why am I not seeing it? Okay, no, I see it.
Okay, I thought we had covered Chow, but yeah, okay.
No, I didn't. They have it listed under children's, like, and they have they have it listed under boys and like the boys and girls children magazines are listed together. So,
Gotcha.
which I guess that makes sense. Oh wow. So according to this, the target age for Chow has actually changed a bunch. So, like in the 80s, it was meant for elementary and junior high school students. It was a more mature magazine then. Then in the mid 80s, they tied up then they started publishing like tie-ins with anime. But then so basically in the 90s, they launched another magazine called Pion Pion in like 1988. And then they merged Chow with Pion Pion, and then that's what made it a kids magazine, which is what it is now.
Okay.
So, like, I mean, they did like a poll among magazines. So, like, it's apparently, I guess, I'm reading this correctly. But they did like a poll on elementary school students and girls, and like they said that I guess it's doing the worst out of all of the shoujo magazines. Ribbon, um, Besatsu Margaret, yeah. So yeah, it's like it's one survey said it's doing the worst. Another one says it's like middling between them. So it's not the most popular shoujo magazine, I guess, for kids, girls magazine.
Oh, interesting.
So according to this, so the works that are in it, let's see.
I saw like Revolution Girl Utena,
That's so
the manga adaptation,
That's so interesting to me. But
and
when
My New Life as a Cat.
Yeah, I
Okay,
completely forgot
so-
My New Life as a Cat's even licensed.
I didn't know that was like
Yeah, it's 7 C's.
Oh shit.
Oh yeah, they did.
Oh,
That's
they have a Kirby manga in here.
But it's not
Yeah,
drunk
Yokai
Kirby,
Watch.
so it's not good enough for us.
No, I mean they don't do they? I think so. They have Kirby and Pokemon, which makes sense because it's basically the sister magazine to CoroCoro.
Hmm.
So this is the girls CoroCoro magazine.
Yeah, Hamtaro ran in Chow.
Okay, yeah, that makes
Oh
sense.
really?
Yeah, Dr. Rin ni Kite Mite. I've heard that, and yeah, I see Gigi Karat.
Happy Clover.
Fushigi,
Oh, and Beauty Pop also
Yeah.
ran Chow.
Fushigi Boshi Futago Hime. Why do I recognize that name? Anyway, Mecha Incho. I remember seeing that. I think my wife likes that. Kirari Revolution. I've heard of that. Like a lot of these, it seems like I'm just going through these now, and a lot of these, it seems like it just are like they made anime. They're anime first, and then they had manga in Chow.
Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of Aikutsu.
Yeah.
Or Aikatsu.
Hmm. Yeah, Aikatsu. And apparently there was a Gash Bell spinoff in this magazine drawn by a female artist. It didn't run very long, apparently. But yeah, they had like a 4-coma Gash Bell manga. Let's see. And yeah, they had Adachi had stuff in here. Slow Step 9. So yeah, I mean, like it covers, and then Pokemon. Like yeah, the Japanese wiki is very extensive. They have like a whole section for just Pokemon. It's a fashion magazine. Yeah, Oha Star stuff like basically. So yeah, I guess the best way to just describe Chow is just again the CoroCoro or Psycho Jump, but for girls.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a Chow Deluxe. Hey, what the heck is this? Oh yeah, it's basically just Chow Deluxe is like the Sunday Super of Chow, where it's like new authors debut in it. So it came out it was 3 times a year until 1999, March, August, and December. And then they had a horror version that came out in August. The August one was a horror version. And then it started in 2000, 2001, it was released 4 times a year, March, July, October, and December. Then 5 times a year, and from 2002 to 2005. In 2005, and now it's published bi-monthly and just odd numbered months. So yeah, I mean, it doesn't. I'm looking through what's here, and I don't see anything that's been licensed or anything. No, but anything in the past. So yeah, I mean, but basically, it's kind of like the one-shot magazine.
Yeah.
There are some serializations in it, but it's like just the foster talent mostly.
Okay. And then I guess we could do like I guess the next one before you hit the next big part, the next little part, I guess we kind of mentioned it a bunch of times here and there throughout this, but it's CoroCoro, which is like neither of the 4 demographics. Yeah, there's more than that. Which is, it's CoroCoro targets elementary school age boys, I think.
Yeah.
Yes.
The Kodomo demo.
Yeah.
Like I mean, like when you get like Pokemon news, it's from Korok. Like all the
Yeah.
Pokemon news leaks are usually from Korok because that's where they're first there. You get like it comes with like supplementary stuff. Like I guess it comes with cards, stuff like that. Didn't I remember I bought a Korokoro and I forgot. I think it came in like it's like huge because they like come with a bunch of crap.
I never know what to
So-
do with the stuff either, because it's like it's all like either toys or things to build, playing cards.
Yeah, like they're like hobby magazines almost. Like, and which makes sense because like Beyblade runs in like Korokoro too. Beyblade, Pokemon, um, Yokai Watch,
Minecraft.
Platoon. Yeah, they're all in Korokoro. So like that, like if like Shogakukan doesn't have to worry about the shonen demographic because they got the kids and they got they got Seinen on lock. So the shonen's just side benefit for them. Because like can you beat the magazine that has like Nintendo's given their blessing to? Like all of the Nintendo shit runs in Korokoro.
Yeah.
And then you have Demizu Posca doing a Beyblade manga.
Yeah, like Beyblade X. Like they got the fucking Promised Neverland author, like artists on that. So like, I mean, yeah, they yeah. Just Psycho Jump just shivers in fear.
Yeah. And isn't that one also like written by like the Kakegurui writer?
Yes, it is.
Oh yeah, that's it.
Oh yeah, and then the Super Mario manga that's been running since the '90s is in this. Like,
Yeah, Super Mario Kun.
yeah. So
Yeah.
like, it's got Nintendo's blessing essentially. Like Fortnite, there's a Fortnite manga in this motherfucker. So like, Duel
Yeah.
Masters.
Oh, Duel Masters Win is like legitimately good too.
Yeah, Ninjala, like, God, and so the reason why I sighed when you said Korokoro is because there's just a stupid amount of them. like if like VLord and I like tried to track like people have been you could like have a master's degree course trying to track Pokemon. In Korokoro because it's so goddamn confusing. Because like there'll be times where there are like several Pokemon running at once, just because in different Korokoros, and like they'll be unfinished. They're like I think was there one that like they didn't finish it until like years after the games came out.
Yeah, it's the Black 2, White 2 arc.
There you go. Yes, I remember we talked about it.
What happens with Pokemon Adventure 2 that's confusing is like part of the chapters will run in Korokoro Ichiban, then the other chapters will run in Pokemon Fan Magazine. So you can't even read the stuff in order if you just buy Korokoro Ichiban.
Yeah, they're it's really stupid how all over the place they are. And then like there's Korokoro Aniki, which I know isn't mentioned here, which is like big, like Aniki literally is big bro. So it's like Korokoro Aniki is like the stuff that ran in Korokoro in like I guess you want to say like 2000 late 90s, early 2000s. Like cuz like there's a manga called Croquet which was that ran in Korokoro and ended a while ago. It was super popular. Like it had games made by Toonami, it had an anime by OLM, the Pokemon people. And if it ran, it ended, and then like the author brought it back in Korokoro Aniki, which is like it's basically like an edgier version of the original where they're like all older now. And there's that, and then there's also Weekly Korokoro Online, because technically there's Korokoro, there's not a weekly magazine. The Korokoro that's physical is monthly. But there's a weekly online magazine, and that one has like the sequel to the Dodge Don forget the dot. It's called Dodge Donko, but it's like the sequel to the a dodgeball manga that ran in the 90s. And it's basically about the daughters of the protagonists of that. And it's like oddly racy for like for something it's I mean it runs on the Korokoro Online, so I don't even know where to begin what the demographic for that is exactly. Yeah, Dodge Donpei, yeah, and then Dodge Donko is the current one. And it's like oddly like again racy for like a manga that's based on a kid's manga. But I mean I guess technically it's run Dodge Donpei, like the people who read that would be adults now, probably have their kids of their own, so it's for them. So yeah, like I mean it's like it's tiptoeing with fan service, but kind of like, yeah.
Gotcha.
But okay, so as far as Koro, so like it started off quarterly, then it went to bi-monthly, then it became monthly. And the demographic is, as we said, children, like boys, young boys, and then the current stuff in it. Like the thing with the Koro though is like all of the artwork in this magazine goes super hard.
It does.
Like-
It's so good.
Like Black Channel looks ridiculously good for something that runs the kids magazine.
Yeah.
Like,
Like that and Fishing Spirits, that manga adaptation of that game that I think no one plays outside Japan.
Which one?
But the art looks so good.
Fishing Spirits, like
I haven't
yeah,
heard of it.
yeah, it's and that's not surprising because like VLord said, nobody outside Japan has heard of it. And then of course Beyblade X, like its art goes hard.
Oh man. Every day we don't have Beyblade X in English, I cry.
I don't understand, like Beyblade, like that thing sells itself. It's Beyblade with the Kakiguri writer and the Promised Neverland artist. That like, and it's legitimately good because I have Volume 1. I bought it while I was in LA from Kinokuniya, and like I legitimately like it. So I'm kind of surprised it hasn't been picked up by somebody. Or by Viz, I guess. Well, when they say somebody, they're the only person or people that are going to get it.
Fair.
Then Duel Masters, yeah, there are a couple of. There's Duel Masters. There's a Kirby in this one as well. I guess there isn't a yokai watch in this one anymore. Interesting. And then then it breaks down into different versions, different Koros. There's a gag Koro. I don't know if that's still running. There's no link. Koro Ichiban, which this one comes out. It's elementary school student manga magazine, and it comes out bi-monthly. So, mostly boys. What runs in this? Okay, Pokemon. Okay, see this one has super. So this one just seems to have like spin-offs of the stuff that's in the regular Koro. There are like 2 Kirby mangas in this. Do we need 2?
Yes, we do. You could never have too many Kirby manga.
I mean,
but in the same magazine, there were like 4 Pokemon in this. No, 5. 6? 6? Okay, yeah, 6 Pokemon.
6
manga.
Pokemon ones running simultaneously
In one magazine, yes. There's a
Oh,
4 Coma
jeez.
Pokemon manga. There's a Card Masters Pokemon manga, the Aim for the Top Pokemon manga. Then there's a Pokemon Special, Scarlet and Violet, which just started. So, yeah.
You gotta hit all your demos.
But they're all in the same magazine. I hate Shoggy. There's Conan. There's a Conan that runs in this, but like, I guess it's just a special Conan. Which, yeah, that makes sense. I mean, Conan's Conan. Like, you gotta have a Conan.
And like Super Mario Kun Theater.
Yeah, Super Mario Kun Theater. There's another Splatoon, which is, it looks like this is more like gag stuff, I guess, because Super Mario like, guess sort of a gag manga. The Splatoon one straight up says it's the gag manga.
Yeah, that one's the gag spinoff.
Yeah, and then there's a Animal Crossing manga, but not the one we have. So yeah, it's like mostly spin-offs of like famous properties already, and then like again 2 Kirby's. Yeah, it's mostly spin-offs of other stuff at this one, and it looks like they might be just like four panel comics, mostly gag stuff.
Gotcha.
Then, okay, now I found Koro Aniki. This one is for, yeah, that's what I thought. It's for people it's for men in their 20s and 30s, and okay, so it started off where it was just like it comes out, like literally, it just like the Japanese just is like unknown, and then it went to seasonally, quarterly, and then now it's like it comes out 3 times a year. And there's barely anything in it. Like there's the croquet I mentioned. There's Pokemon Aniki, which I have no idea what that is. Croquet Black Label, that's what it's called. And there's yet another Kirby. This little guy's everywhere. And they're all different artists. It's not like this the same artist doing these. There's another Beyblade. I didn't even know this existed. Oh, okay. So there's Beyblade X and Korokoro, and then there's this Beyblade, which is drawn by the guy that did the original Beyblade manga. So basically, like basically Korokoro Aniki is like if you grew up reading Korokoro, you're like still you haven't got out of Korokoro yet. This is a magazine for you. There's only like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 series in it, which makes sense because it's like it only comes out 3 times a year. And then like yeah, there were a couple things that ran back when it was like, oh wow, I didn't know Toyota no Minoru had a series of this. Anyway, Shoko Nakagawa had a Pokemon manga in this, but I think it no longer's running. Shokotan, if people don't know who she is, she's insane. But like she's like the biggest idol otaku. Just don't bring up JoJo in her presence. She might eat you. Then weekly Korokoro comic, and unfortunately it doesn't list what's in it. But yeah, like the Korokoro comic is page on Japanese wiki is like super detailed and super long, and I we could be here for days discussing it. So yeah, like and of course like obviously Doraemon, like where did that run? I'm just kind of curious. It ran Tento Mushi. Okay, it ran a Korokoro back in the day. 1,300 chapters. Wow. But yeah, essentially like the Korokoro Kaito Joker, which that got an animated Crunchyroll had. But yeah, basically the Korokoros are for like they're analogous to the Psycho Jump, V Jump, except just with like mostly Nintendo stuff.
Right.
Right, where like I guess V Jump is like Namco Bandai closer to most of that stuff.
It's more of a gaming one, like their gaming one, yeah.
Yeah, I mean like Korokoro's gaming too.
Gaming and merchandise, yeah.
Yeah, I mean Korokoro's basically that too, but just mostly Nintendo properties. Okay, here's Besatsu Korokoro, which it was bi-monthly, then went to monthly, then went back to bi-monthly. So then yet another Kirby. I almost want to just do a study of just how many Kirby's there are and how many if you wanted to buy all the Kirby manga, how much that would set you back. Okay, and here's the Korokoro Beisatsu Korokoro, has the Animal Crossing that has been licensed. So it looks like it moved. Oh no, it came from another magazine to this magazine. Okay, so yeah, like basically, yeah. I mean, it's the merchandising, boys magazines type stuff.
Okay.
So
and so now like I think what's left are so one of them is to move on into the into all the seinen stuff.
And this is where VLord comes to shine.
Let's start with the okay, I feel like maybe it's an easy one, but you can tell me. Monthly Sunday Gene X. Like I know that one from I know some people may be like, okay, what's in that one? I know that one has Black Lagoon.
Yes.
But in Zom 100.
Yes.
Yeah.
Those are two. Yormund ran in there because like even Yormund, good, I never know correctly. But that ran like because like they even had a crossover with Revi, like Coco from Yormund trying to sell Revi weapons.
Oh yeah, I heard about that.
So like yeah, they ran in the same magazine. Sunday Gene X, let me look it up. Oh yeah, like Arakawa had a series in there, and I actually bought it while we were in Japan. Like Arakawa, Full Metal Alchemist Arakawa.
Yeah.
Right,
Yakuza Reincarnations also in there.
That's also so Sunday GX. I bought like one issue of it way back just to see what was in it, and it seems like it just like there are a lot of like Oh, that's really interesting. So like Japanese wiki lists Sunday GX as a shonen magazine. But
really,
yeah, that's
because the American one lists as seinen.
Yeah, no, they list it as a shonen. I mean, it is definitely a seinen magazine. Like there's no doubt about that. I have no idea why, but that's what they have it. But yeah, it comes out monthly as we know. It is yeah, I mean they listed it as a shonen. That's so weird. But anyway,
I mean, I guess it's definitely younger leaning in the same way that like
yeah, it's kind of
Young
like,
Jump is
yes,
younger leaning.
exactly. Like VLord and I have often joked that you could pretty much run most of the stuff in Young Jump, save maybe Golden Con. Like if you could put Kingdom in Shonen Jump and it would be fine. They wouldn't have to cut much. Like they might have to some of the violence maybe, but like it could run in a Shonen magazine without a problem. Like a lot of the
Yeah.
stuff in Young Jump, a lot of stuff in Young Jump could, like
Yeah.
except
No.
maybe Golden Kamuy, maybe like that definitely couldn't. But
I mean, I don't know because I feel like it could because it would be pushing it, but it could because I feel like Chainsaw Man kind of was like one of those where
okay,
it's like
that's fair.
Chainsaw Man, Golden Kamuy would kind of work in the whatever same magazine if they were in the same magazine.
Okay.
So yeah, that's my opinion.
Yeah, no, okay, no, you make a good point. But basically, yeah, it's kind of like the lower tier. Like if again going back to the food analogy, if like the big comics are the fine dining, like Sunday GX is Wendy's. So
Yeah, that's accurate. I feel like there's definitely a lot more focus on like action too.
Yeah.
Like, you look at like Black Lagoon Yormanga and Gunbird Sisters that we read a while back.
Yeah.
That was also GX.
so what's
Yakuza Reincarnation.
so what's funny about it is like the
Apothecary Diaries.
yes,
Yeah.
always has to correct me. I can
Apothecary
never pronounce the word. Yeah, that the GX the spin-off that Shogakukan has, which is oddly not licensed, runs in GX.
I mean, okay, I'll say it kind of makes sense that it's not licensed because like it's too confusing because you have the Square Enix Apothecary Diaries, which is the manga adaptation, which is being printed in English. If you have this one, even if it'll be Viz, the problem is that you're going to confuse consumers, and you just risk like not selling it at all.
Yeah, I guess that's fair. I mean, like from what I've heard, though, the Square Enix one is like more of a Cliff's Notes, while
Yeah.
the GX one is actually like taking its time.
Yep, I read that up. I looked into that too. Yeah.
Yeah, no, the GX one definitely is a lot more closer to what you'd get in the light novel.
Mm-hmm.
While, yeah, the Square Enix one is like basically a speed run of the light novel.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and I forgot. Like Beelzebub, Ryuhei Tamura's new series runs in GX Cosmos. So like, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if Viz picks that up eventually. Like, oh yeah, there are like 2 other Black Lagoon spin-offs that run in here too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the Edda one and then the one on
Sawyer the Cleaner.
Sawyer, yeah.
Yeah.
Running in this as well. And they actually have very little in this magazine. I mean, well, it's a monthly, so I guess that's not too surprising. Let's see. Like, yeah, there's like only a handful of series running in it. And then some of the stuff that Pat ran in the past, that might have been licensed. Destro, which is the other work by the Yorgman guy.
Yeah.
That's
Vampires, which is being released by Denpa.
yes.
Wait, Vampires was in here?
Yeah, Vampires was
Yeah.
GX. Recreators.
Huh.
Red Sun Inc. Okay, yeah, I know Red Sun Inc. And like, so also I mentioned it earlier, but like they also run like a hodgepodge of things from like Webry because they also run Hotel and Humans on GX. I mean, it's private. It's weird because on Shogakukan's site, it's released under the GX label, but it technically runs first on Webry.
Yeah.
So Webry, because like it's a bi-weekly series, so obviously, what's in GX only releasing once a month? Obviously, yeah, it's going to be ahead. So, yeah, but oh wow, oh okay, yeah, that's right, we did know that. Like the Natsuno, the Tunnel of Summer, that ran the manga that ran in GX.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so it's definitely a thing where it's like I feel like this is like baby's first seinen. If you're looking at the shonen, I mean, if you're in Shogakukan, if you're moving into seinen, I feel like it's the hierarchy would be Shonen Sunday,
Mhm.
then maybe Gesson, then GX.
Okay.
Like I feel like that's what. Oh, March Story. Isn't it by? Is it by? Why do I know that? Oh, right. This is the Yan Kyun Yilu.
Yeah, he did Defense Devil.
Yes, and and Area D. Yeah, so
Mm.
that was also in GX. Yeah, I remember when I was researching for Superstring that like I saw a lot of his stuff was in Shogakukan magazine. Let's see. Then we did GX. Okay, now we're getting to the real segment.
The real boys.
Big comic, which that's for men 30 and above. Comes out once a month. It's been around since the 60s, so you know it is a big boy. And then there are several different versions. There are Big Comic Original, Big Comic Spirits, Big Comic Superior, Shonen Big Comic, that was back in the 80s though, which turned into Young Magazine and that was canceled. And then Big Comic Aphrodite.
I hadn't heard of
Gekon
that.
Spirits.
Yeah, Gekon Spirits, yeah. Which Gekon Spirits isn't actually listed in the Big Comic like Wikipedia page, so go figure. Once again, Shogakukan's a mess. So Big Comic is what's running in Big Comic?
A lot.
Yeah. I mean,
so Big Comic Original, you mean?
Or
No,
normal Big Comic.
just Big Comic.
Oh wait, so Big Comic
Yeah.
Original and okay, my bad. I thought when you said that, I thought you meant like Big Comic proper, like actual. So okay, there's a
No.
Big Comic Original, and that's separate from Big Comic Spirits.
Yeah, Big Comic.
So there's a Big Comic Original, and a Big Comic Spirits.
Yes,
dear
so
Lord.
Big Comic is welcome to hell, little buddy.
No, oh my god.
So there's Big Comic's the name of the brand, but it's also the magazine. So there's a family of magazines under the Big Comic label, but there's also a magazine called Big Comic. This is why I hate Shogakukan. They make it so hard to love them. So
It's even more confusing when you try to buy it. You're like, what's the difference between these two? They're both called Big Comic.
and there's no the thing about Shogakukan is there's no weekly seinen magazine. Well, yes, there is. Big Comic. Is Big Comic weekly? There is a weekly Big Comic, right?
There's one that
There's,
runs bi-weekly, but I don't think there's one
Spirits is weekly.
Spirits is weekly. Spirits is
Spirits is? Okay.
Spirits is weekly. Okay, that's what I thought. Because there was a Young Sunday. Because you see how there's Young Jump, Young Magazine. There used to be a Young Sunday, but that went defunct. And there's also Young Champion. Why Shogakukan had to be different, I guess. But either way,
They're just special.
yeah, they are specials. Blue Giant Momentum runs in Big Comic. Ikigami.
So we're talking about Big Comic, right?
Yeah, just Big
Right now?
Comic.
Okay.
The magazine,
Gogol 13.
not the brand. Yeah, Gogol 13.
right. Yeah.
Gogol 13 runs in it.
Tetsuya Chiba's historical memoirs currently
Yes.
in Big Comic.
Yes, that like also apparently because there's columns. So Big Comics, I guess they have actual columns that aren't manga. So like Go Nagai has a column too. Apparently.
Yeah.
So like he and it's just like stuff that they just write. And then Kazuhiko Ota, am I reading his name correctly? Oh yeah, no, he's a graphic designer. Oh, okay, so they just have guys just writing stuff there as well. Deep 3, which is a basketball manga.
Yeah, Deep 3 is really cool.
Yeah.
I think I've seen like some news about that. Okay, yeah, I forgot that was a basketball manga.
Ikigami, Second Coming Advent. I don't know if I'm reading this kanji correctly, but yeah, Jumbo Max, which is like Breaking Bad but with like sex pills.
Oh, I think I saw something about that.
Yeah,
I haven't read it or anything. I don't think anyone's like translated it or something, but I think I've heard of it. I was like, what the heck?
yeah, no, that sounds really wild. I really want to read that. Unfortunately, I know my Japanese seems amazing, but I'm not good enough to read things like in Big Comic. Like I could read GX stuff, okay, because like again, there, even with seinen, I think what one thing that we could definitely say here is like even within the demographics there are splits.
Yeah.
Because like there's like because GX is definitely I could read GX stuff. I could read some Urasendai stuff depending. Because when we were in Japan, I was just buying first volumes of stuff and reading them, and I was able to get through most of the Urasendais. But like when it gets to some of like the deeper stuff, like Big Comic Original and Spirits, yeah, I struggle to read those.
Yeah, when I look at it, I'm just like, oh, pretty pictures. Let me just look at Chiba's full color chapter at the end of every issue.
Also, I mean, to make this even more fun, there's a special Big Comic Zokan, which why?
Yeah, and that one's quarterly, I think.
Yeah, that's quarterly. It comes out 5 times a year. It says, yeah, and that one
Well, it'd be 4 times a year probably.
Well,
if it's quarterly.
yeah, I mean the wiki says 5. I'm just
Shogakukan, please make sense. Please make sense.
Oh god, I hate this so much. Why can't you guys just have 2 magazines like everyone else? Okay, so Big Comic Zokan is basically what the hell? I see Gallery Fake, which moved from Big Comic Spirits. So from 2020's digital version, okay, prior to the main magazine. So it's like a sister magazine that comes out 5 times a year, and Gallery Fake, and that's like the only thing I recognize here. Daiju Morohashi Theater. I feel like I should know that name. I should.
Yeah, I think they published Hotel Tantedal back in the day.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I see it. Yep. So yeah, I mean, there's really not much here. I can what past things that run in this thing. I don't.
I mean, there's also okay. Did we cover Big Comic Spirits yet?
No, we haven't.
Yeah. One other thing. Tokyo These Days, the upcoming Taiyo Matsumoto release. That was also from Zokan.
Okay.
Okay.
So since you mentioned Spirits, let's go to Spirits. So Spirits is weekly, yes, like VLord said. It started off monthly, but then was bi-weekly, then became weekly.
It's just too powerful.
It started in the 80s. It doesn't say what the like age range is. Like, so they're not.
Oh yeah. So it seemed like when I did some research on it, because I was curious about it. Like, the themes seem to be food, sports, romance, and business.
Yeah.
And that the stories question conventional values.
Yeah. I mean, like,
I guess sort of, yeah.
I mean, it's kind of like what, because like, reading this correctly, but it's saying that like, it's kind of like so. I guess it's the step up from GX. Because, like, Japanese wiki is more or less saying it's basically the seinen version of Shonen Sunday.
I guess that's kind of true, though.
Yeah.
Like, that's where all the big comic titles are. They're all in Spirits, usually.
Yeah, because you have stuff like Arara, Oishimbo. Yeah, so it's like the popular stuff. So, like, yeah, I guess that's a good way of putting it. I Am a Hero, Mogura no Uta. Yeah.
Reservin.
Yeah,
Reservin.
Asahi Nagaku.
Asadora's there.
Yeah,
Oishinbo ran in there.
Yeah, Tokusatsu Gagaga. So yeah, this is like so it's like the seinen version of Shonen Sunday. And then like they also had special issues. They had monthly Iki, which didn't Dorohedoro start there?
Yeah, Iki was like its entirely own thing.
Oh.
Like Iki was like a monthly magazine for like 11 years.
Oh, it also had Mason and Koku.
Yeah. That makes sense. Like then there was Hibana, which I remember Hibana.
Yeah.
Then now, okay, I see Gekkan Spirits. So they consider Gekkan Spirits to be a special version of fuck you, Shogakukan. So big comics, weekly Spirits. Monthly Spirits is a special version of Weekly Spirits.
This makes no sense.
Why?
It's its own magazine.
I hate this. I hate
But I mean,
Okay.
All the confusion just to read the stuff that's in Gekon Spirits, I guess.
Okay. So like what's in weekly, because yeah, most of the popular stuff that would be considered spirits is in weekly spirits.
Yeah,
like
Gekon has like Azoken though and Snowball Earth.
yes, and that's like, so that makes sense because you have Aoashi in this
Yeah.
weekly spirits, Dance Dansur,
Curiosity.
yeah, Furo Tante, the W, Kamen Rider W spinoff.
Yeah, the Futopia.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Kujo no Dansai, Akane no Ne, Afro Tanaka, which I've heard of that.
Yeah.
Masami Yuki's series, Shinkaro
Yeah,
Hashiru.
Hashiru is in this. Yep.
Yeah. Dance Store.
Ropin. Okay, I've heard of Ropin.
Rope. Yeah.
Yeah, that one's Asadora. Yeah, I see it. Cause I was about to say, where's Asadora? And I'm like, okay, yeah, it's on hiatus. So they have a whole separate section for stuff that's on hiatus. Dragon Jam was, I guess, that's another basketball manga. It used to be in Weekly Spirits, but then it moved to Gekon.
Spirits just has too many bangers. That's the takeaway here.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, honestly. Okay, so now we're going to Gekon Spirits, which is monthly. Goes Gekon.
Yeah.
I mean, when you hear the word Gekon, just think monthly. And yeah, okay, this has the way. So like some of the Japanese wiki pages, instead of just having a separate section for each thing, they'll just put like everything and then just highlight in red what's currently running. So I have to kind of scroll through. But like VLord said, Azoken is in this.
Snowball Earth. Yeah.
Though the Yasuke manga ran in this, the Netflix thingy.
Yeah.
Scarafity. Oh yeah, I held volume 1 of that. And then they just started a bunch of new stuff, it looks like. So Doku. Yeah, most of the stuff we probably wouldn't know because it looks like they all just started. I mean, so far the only anime Gekon Spirits has had is Azoken. They have a bunch.
Well, After the Rain as well.
Okay, well that's not listed here.
I'm not sure why it's not listed there.
Okay, well let's not. Anyway,
After the Rain.
Oh wait, no, Kill no.
No, because it went from After the Rain because it went from monthly Big Comic Spirits to weekly Big Comic Spirits.
Okay.
That's probably why.
See, this is fun. and then related to Gekon Spirits is Yarakawa Spirits, which is basically the online Gekon Spirits.
Please just merge them all. Shogakukan, we're begging you.
So every time you see me tweeting stuff on the thing from any of the seinen magazines, I'm crying inside. So like, okay, Yarakawa Spirits runs like Kaito Ultimato Kamikakurashi, which was just licensed by Seven Seas. I think it's just Mysterious Disappearances.
Oh, that's in that. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, that's getting anime next year, right?
Yes.
In April, yeah.
Yes. And then Isekai Shikaku, or Failure to be Isekai, is also in this magazine. That's getting an anime, I think. I Am a Hero in Osaka. I'm a Hero in Ibaraki. Why are there so many different this? In Nagasaki. How many places was this guy a hero?
Well, it's different heroes being a hero.
But okay, yeah, like Mysterious Disappearances is getting an anime in 2024, and Isekai Shikaku was also getting one, but they haven't announced the studio. Is this licensed? Oh yeah, it is. 7C. Yeah, it's licensed. No longer allowed in another world is the English name. That's what I was trying to remember.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, I forget what other series that guy did, Hiroshi Noda, because like he has another one that got an anime.
it was the Power Rangers in Love one. Fuck, what was the name of that thing?
Love After World Domination.
Yes.
Yes.
He's doing a couple things. Well, no. No, he did he's around. He did a thing for Club Sunday too, which was basically Baby web read. So yeah, all right, but
yeah,
go ahead. Sorry.
Oh no, I was just gonna say, no longer allowed in other worlds is one of those series that I keep buying, but I keep forgetting to read.
That sounds like most people might not do.
Yeah, maybe.
But yeah, so like, yeah, so Gekon Spirits is basically a special version of Weekly Spirits, which is a spin-off of Big Spirits, which is
Dang.
I think Sakaki's having a heart
I
attack.
hate
Yeah,
this.
it
I
sounds like
really, really fucking hate this. Why can't they just be one thing? Okay.
Yeah,
Could've
nah,
prevented this
I
winter.
totally see
You
that.
could have
This is
prevented
just
this.
yeah, this I can see why this breaks you. I mean, like when I was doing the genre breakdown stuff, like when I got to big comic spirits, that's where I almost just gave up because I was like, this is they like it's not only like they just have this like these titles, which is a lot, but then they all had like different like genres and stuff, and then some of them like manga updates had like two of them, two genre tags, while my anime list had like two different ones, and then Annie list had three genre tags that only one of them matched manga updates and the other one matched Annie list, or sorry, my anime list. And I'm like, okay, well then what the heck kind of one is this? Like it happened like on repeat, and after it I was like, I finished all of that and I'm like, I really don't know if like I don't know if I should continue this because man, that just burnt me out.
Yeah, like I don't see. Okay, so reading it, it's men over the 30s. This one actually does have a demographic, and it comes out twice a month, the 5th and the 20th. So like, you got Weekly Spirits. So why do you need this one? Anyway, like so this started in 1972 as a special issue of Big Comic.
Mm-hmm.
A Big Comic. They just had a special issue of Big Comic. They just call it Big Comic Original. And then one day they're just like, "Hey, let's just make it a magazine." And it has like a lot of like ancient shit in it, because like, they're like, like Suribaka Nishi has been running for 40 years.
Damn.
Sunset on 3rd Street also 40 years. Kaze no Daichi and golf manga 40 years. So like, yeah, there's a lot of ancient shit here. So like, which is weird to think about, because then the other magazine, like Big Comic, I don't think they have some old stuff in it, but not as old as the one that's younger than it, and because this is just too much. But
Yeah, I mean, aside from Golgo, because Golgo's been there since like
true,
the 60s.
True.
Yeah.
Okay, that's like the one exception. The one- so
Yeah.
like they have late night Shinya Shokudo. Didn't they get like a
Yeah,
Netflix?
Midnight Diner.
Yeah, they got like a Netflix thing, didn't it?
Mm-hmm.
It did.
Okay, so yeah. What other stuff is running this? Karunoshima. I mean, nothing I really know, which isn't surprising. It's like this definitely seems like the old head magazine.
Yeah, let's see. Showa Emperor Tale. I've seen that in bookstores before.
The old head magazine.
I mean, it really is the old head magazine.
Even though,
Even like the stuff, even the art styles in it, like look like they're aimed at like people that read manga in like the 80s and 90s.
yeah, like
That's fair.
okay, yeah,
That
because
is
like,
fair.
the original Big Comic started in 1968, but like there's stuff that's just 40 years old in Big Comic Original. Okay, so we're gonna. I mean, I know we got to wrap this up eventually. So now we're at Big.
Let's move on to Superior.
Yeah,
Yeah,
let's
I think Superior is the last one.
There's also Dalpana, which I mentioned.
Oh yeah, right. That's right.
Which that one's just a despair magazine. Which why it's called that, I don't know.
So it's just despair. I mean, you can like provide more context on that one. So it's just despair, like you're depressed,
like
and
it's like this. It's like most of the manga have to do with like the characters. Like, I mean, obviously most stories have characters dealing with things, but these are like these characters are dealing with things within that they're like nothing is working for them. It's like just really just hardship after hardship after hardship. It's like it's like torture porn, but not quite. I guess like the way that they phrase the magazine at first is like that
it's like
just
emotional porn, like watching This Is
it's kind
Us.
of like this is it's kind of like they the way that Shogakukan kind of made it is like this is the manga for the modern era, which
Like, okay, I feel like that was someone who was like, yeah, you have to make a magazine for the modern era. Fine. All of these, like, millennials and Gen Alpha or Gen Z and Gen Alpha people are depressed. So here's the magazine that's about depression. It's like non-stop depression. And everyone's looking at this like, bro, what the hell?
It's the hot topic big comic. So,
The hot topic of big comic.
that's what it is. It's the hot topic of big comic. So now we're Superior. It comes out twice a month. So why do it started in 1987. It started in 1987, so I'm older than it. What's in here? They have Gundam Thunderbolt, which I've seen that around.
Steel the Celestial Shadows, Trillion Game,
yes,
Super Ball
This is
Girls.
Big Comic Superior we're talking about, right?
Yes.
Okay,
Mujina in the Deep, which is
Blood on the Tracks.
Yeah, Blood on the Tracks ended. Back in September.
Geek Ants.
Yeah, Geek Ants.
Full Night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, like, there's a lot of popular stuff in this one too.
So the English Wikipedia page says that the target audience is between Big Comic Original and Big Comic Spirits' audiences.
How many steps do you need?
I mean, that also kind of checks out though, because like definitely Superior's like titles skew older than a lot of the stuff in Spirits, because a lot of them have more darker themes. They're more like psychological thriller, like older type like dramas.
Yeah, because I see
yeah.
Natsume Arata's Kekkon, which I read like a bunch of like a couple months ago, and yeah, I mean that has to deal with like a guy promising to marry a serial killer, so she'll tell her where the bodies of her victims are. So I'm kind of surprised that it's been licensed. That seems like the kind of thing that
what's it called?
Natsume Arata, The Marriage of Natsume Arata.
Yeah,
like I liked it a lot actually. I don't even know how I ended up finding it.
That
like
one.
it's
I'm a little surprised about that one. That sounds like something Seven Seas would.
Yeah, I was just about to say Seven Seas would slurp that up. Like
yeah.
But yeah,
I feel like it's probably gonna get a drama at some point.
Yeah.
Like Trillion Game.
Yeah. Like because it's like one of Superior's like bigger titles. Like, and I think it's about to end.
Oh.
So like yeah, I remember reading somewhere that it's like on its final chapter or whatever. So let me see. I'm gonna try to see. Okay, no, that's not print web. I'm looking for Dalpana, and I don't think they have a page for it, but it definitely exists. And there's also, I mean, looking at some of the web stuff, they have MOBA Man, but let's not go into that, please.
Oh God, not MOBA Man. I don't want to deal with that.
I don't either. So that's enough. We've done enough. But yeah, Dalpana is basically. Let me see. And let's not even talk about Night Sunday.
Oh God, Sunday After Dark, where you can only read it after like nighttime for some reason.
Yeah,
wait, why?
So it's like racy manga, but like not meant for kids. So like they only open the site after like 6 p.m. or. 7.
Oh, what the fuck?
Shogakukan just age restrict the site.
I know, for real.
I don't know, man. I
That is so wild. This is so much more work to do that.
They gotta make it difficult.
Yeah,
okay,
no,
so yeah,
real.
I'm on Dalpana's site now, and yeah, I mean, looking at some of the stuff like I've covered, like talked about on the Phobia. What the? Phobia's on the Superior. It's on the Superior site. So are they just merging them? Yeah, Phobia's listed on the. What the hell?
But it also has a listing on the Big Comic Bros site.
Why?
I think we broke Sakaki.
I don't like
too late for it.
This whole plan, this whole idea just broke him.
It's just because it's stupid. Like, okay, see, I'm looking at all the stuff. Like, okay, does Dalpana have it? Okay, yes, it does have a magazine. What is in it? No, like when you click on magazines on Dalpana's site, right? It takes you to all the other big comics. So what the? Anyway, I'm done. So like, yeah, the Odd Taxis run on here. Okay, I see this one series I remember talking about where it's basically about this two sisters, and one sister is trying her best to debate her sister's husband. That's the whole series. And there's one that says like this girl wants to be a slut. That's just her.
What?
I mean, the title of the series is literally "I want to be a slut." I want to be Yariman ni Naritai, which is I want to be a whore. That's the name of the series. That's it. Why? And then you just look at everything on here, and Odd Taxi just like sticks out. Like,
There's Odd Taxi.
No, I'm gonna send you the site, like, and you can look at it for yourself. Like, and there's no magazine to it, so I'm beginning to think that Dalpana is just like a label. I think Superior is like the magazine, but Dalpana is the label that's released under. Which Shogakukan does that shit too. Where they'll like it runs in one magazine, but it's released under another label. Like for example, the Freerun anthology book that's coming out like next week, it's released under Gesson, but everything else Freerun is released under Shonen Sunday.
Yeah,
so
They just got to make it difficult.
apparently.
I mean, and then like when I'm looking up covers to like report them on Weekly Shogakukan edition, they have like they list them by like by what magazine they run it, and then they just have an entire section at the bottom that has no magazine. So that's a lot of fun for me to have to look for, and like 9 times out of 10, it's usually Dalpana shit. And it's just like, why not just put it under Superior? Why do you guys have to do this? Why must you make me suffer?
You just gotta make it difficult for you.
They do, and it's like I think they get off on it. Maybe they should just make it manga about me and Dalpana.
Maybe that may be the next thing.
Oh, Sakaki wants to support Shogakukan. Let's make it as confusing as possible.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, basically.
It's like, okay, no, okay, yeah. I'm just gonna like, yeah, okay, yeah. The site. I'm gonna throw the site up here. I mean, I know you're not gonna be able to read it and see, like, okay, for example, and I know we're gonna wrap up soon, but freaking out over Shogakukan's made me work up an appetite. So, like, for example, like, at the bottom of the page, right? If you just scroll all the way at the bottom.
Yeah.
Okay, no, the Freeman anthology is being released under Dunno. Like the Dodge Danko is released under Dunno. Like everything that's at the bottom of the page is just Dunno. It doesn't have a label. So me trying to find out what it's under, because like I pride myself on WS's TV of telling you what magazine this runs in, and it's cursed me so much many times. Because I could be like Moker and just not do that, and it would save me so much time. But no, I have to go the extra mile and find out what magazine this bullshit runs in. But yeah, so like it's just what we've learned from all of this is Shogakukan is just really confusing for no goddamn reason at all.
Just read
basically.
the manga and don't ask questions, basically.
Basically, yeah, consume product, do not question product. Like it's a thing. I mean, like, I guess I kind of get it. It is just going back to what I mean. VLord pretty much TLDR'd this best at the very beginning of this conversation, which is Shogakukan can just do a lot of shit because Shueisha is covering for them. Shogakukan is walking, so Shueisha can run, and that's why they can just have 7 different labels for one goddamn magazine.
Yeah, I mean, in many ways, they're kind of viewed as like the kingpins of manga publishing.
Yeah,
they're like you go to them for like those prestige titles.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and like because of that, like they just kind of do whatever they want.
Yeah, that's what I mean at this point. Yeah, and nobody's there to stop them because it's like people are okay with this,
right?
God, bad. I'm just looking through the core files and I need to stop. But yeah, so like that's
gonna be okay.
That's the Shogakukan thing in a nutshell. And let's not even get into the L. I mean, at least the one thing that's not confusing is the LN thing. Is the Gagaga Bunko. That at least is pretty straightforward. That's all just LNs.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and we have an interview with them if you want to listen and learn more about Gagaga Bunko.
Okay. He knows how quiet he went.
Wait, no, I didn't even hear what you said.
No, he said, did you release it?
Release it?
Yeah, I released it like months ago.
Okay, fine. Okay, no, I'm thinking Hachimoku's Revenge. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, no, that one I still have to do.
Okay, so like
TBD.
yeah, but yeah, essentially yeah, that it is just there's a lot of manga under Shogakukan, like a lot of it, too much.
Yeah, I totally, and like it's interesting because like of the like okay, Viz pulls from Shogakukan because they're co-owned by Shogakukan, which okay makes sense. Dark Horse does as well. And even with the amount that they both pull from Shogakukan, it's so funny because, and of course, Seven Seas does just here and there, like a sprinkle, right? And
Jesus, like they're all up Shogakukan's ass.
Really?
Like, they
I didn't think they were, but
like they picked up Sunday Super stuff, big comic stuff.
okay,
Yeah,
I
no,
gotcha.
like Seven Seas is like I really want to get into their DMs because like they have so much Shogakukan stuff, but like they don't.
Well, I mean, it seems like Viz isn't really pulling a lot from them.
Like Viz is basically
compared-
pulling from like Shonen Sunday mostly.
Right, yeah, like mostly from that, and Dark Horse is pulling from like the big comic stuff more or less.
Yeah, more or
But
less.
yeah, and you know, we recently just have Dimpa who just, you know, picked up they're more recent, but they picked up what their second Shogakukan title, I think. Third, okay.
Third, yeah, because Vampires,
Vampires,
Taxi,
on
and then
Taxi.
they also got the Adachi thing, so it's 3.
That's it.
Yeah, the
That's-
Adachi thing. Then they have the They Were 11.
Yeah, they were
And
11.
then
you're
that
right.
other series by Shinzo Keigo.
Yes,
Yes,
that's
that's
right.
it.
The
Okay, so they have
Hiroyata-
5.
Yeah,
But
okay.
Yeah.
it's kind of funny with all of them pulling from Shogakukan. They've all just all combined have just scratched the surface of the amount of manga that Shogakukan produces, which is just insane. Produced or has, like it's
Yeah.
just insane.
Yeah, no, it's like really terrifying how much manga is like under. Like, I mean, like I'm sure, like if we dig deeper on like Shueisha and like Kodansha, there's probably a lot under them too. But like, yeah, there is like now going through this with you, I honestly think I can say that Shogakukan might put out more manga than all of them.
I would maybe argue it's a tie with Kodansha.
I think Kodansha is still releasing a lot more.
Yeah.
But there's less the ratio of series being released by Kodansha compared to the ratio of series being released by Shogakukan in English.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Kodansha is releasing more in English.
Yes.
Right. No, I mean, because I forgot Kodansha has the Day of the Week, the Days magazines. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Among that, and then they have Serious, and they have Weekly. They have So like, no, that makes sense. That makes sense.
Yeah. But I mean, it's like I think VLord said it. In terms of what's getting pulled from English, Kodansha is beating it. But in terms of in Japan, the backlog or the catalog that they have, they're both have to be tied. Like it's just, man, and I didn't know how much content Shogakukan had. It makes sense though, because them and Kodansha are like the 2 oldest, but I just didn't know they had so much. And it's like, honestly, it's kind of a treasure trove for publishers if they have that passion to jump in and try to get some of those, get those titles. It doesn't even have to be the classic stuff. It's just, you could pick the recent stuff and you would have you can pick the recent stuff across 3 different Shogakukan magazines and you would still have a giant catalog to choose from. Like, it's just wild for me. And this was like really informative, even though it was a big kind of a info dump of stuff, but it was very informative. It was good though.
I mean, I admit it, when you came up with the idea, I kind of side-eyed like, we're gonna be here, but I wanted to do it. I mean, like,
it was interesting. No, it was interesting because it was like, it was really interesting because it was just like, wow, like so much, like there was so much of the history of that stuff and like that YouTube covered, and then there was like just the various series that were covered in the that were mentioned, like on the shoujose side, or which I kind of feel like there's one, I think one of those, maybe Besu Komi, that I think people do kind of talk about a lot in the community, but some of the other ones, like I feel like the older series in Flowers, like the ones who have ended and stuff like that, people don't. I feel like people don't really talk about much. And then when you get when we got into the big comics series and Sakaki broke. So,
I put on a lot of theatrics, but no, it's terrible.
no, I believe you. I know
like
that feeling.
I didn't. I've always known that Shogakukan, like Koro Koro, is like again, and that just goes to show you. I feel like just how they feel about the shonen part, because like the shonen part's really straightforward. It's Super, Geson, and Sunday, Weekly
Yeah.
Sunday. That's it. Koro Koro is a mess, and Big Comic's a mess.
Yeah.
So, like, it just goes to show that they're. It feels like their shonen part is just kind of like, yeah, we got to do something to compete with Jump and Magazine and Champion.
Yeah.
So
And then
we'll have
but
there.
Komi, like the Koro Koro and stuff like that, Koro Koro was one, like I didn't know it had that much detail, and I'm just like, man, so basically, like that's just insane. And yeah, that was just insane. And then the big comic ones, but it was incredibly interesting about like I definitely understand, and I do like that they have those themes, at least for big comic, for their shoujose line. And mostly I think it's mostly their josei line, but and their big comics lines, they have it broken out into, if you like I guess it was shoujose as well, shoujo part, because if you started with us with Chow or whatever, we will be with you up into when you're an adult. Like you are an adult in like in your 30s or something like that. Like we will be with you every step of the way, which I think is really awesome. And the same thing with Big Comic Spirits, where it's like, okay, hey, you are you're like a late teenager.
Yeah, you're going to
like
college. We'll go with you. You're a college.
And
we'll
Weekly
I'll go
Shonen Sunday may not be for you because you want something that maybe relates to you in your current time of life. And so we have that with Big Comic Spirits, or even with like the Gene X or whatever. And but mostly with Comic Spirits. And then we have it where you're in college. Now you graduated college, but you're looking for a job. Now you got a job, but you're, the entry level, right? Now, okay, you're mid-level. Now you're here. And like, we're following. You have, you find a girl. Yeah, you have you find a girl or a guy,
because
whichever.
Afro Tanaka is literally that. Like, it's this one guy through his entire life. I think at this point now he has a wife and kid.
Yeah.
So it started off with him, like, basically, I mean, it's always been, I think, in the same magazine, but like what you're saying is what he did.
Yeah. Yeah, no, exactly. So it's just like, I can relate to this, and I can use this as a good reference to, like, in my life, that kind of thing, like, and then I have, like you said, a wife and a kid, and managing being a parental unit, and then maybe they have some, like you said, where it might have some where it's like, oh, my kid is kind of grown up, and there's those things. I do think, I know it's incredibly painful for you to like report that news, but I kind of like that they do this because you can, they're with you, and you don't have to like come back, because I don't want, at least bring and Jump back up again. A lot of people go into weekly show. Sorry, there are a lot of people who are like much older and things like that. Still buying Weekly Shonen Jump, but mainly for One Piece. But everything else is like, hey, that's not for me because I felt like I've grown out of this. I liked this with what Big Comic Spirits is doing, because it's like, hey, this magazine's it's not like this one series I have to, this is one series I like that it's keeping me with this magazine, but it's more so like, oh, I've grown out of this magazine in general. I can move on to your next big comic one. Or I've grown out of, like, what is it? We had, going back to the Shoujose one, I've grown out of like petite comic, but now I'm going to go into, or I've grown out of Shokomi, but now I'm going to go into Flowers.
Yeah, like,
yeah.
I mean, to be fair, like, I feel like all the publishers have that kind of stepping program, but I feel like Shogakukan is just more thorough. I mean, as
Yeah.
frustrating as this is, but Shogakukan is just far more thorough with it. Because, like, I mean, even just looking at that, the seinen side again, you got GX. Then you have a stepping stone. Like, I mean, you could go from Koro to you. Even the Koros have stepping stones to each one. So you're getting.
It's a much more like granular scale.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So yeah, that's exactly it. It feels like with Jump, it really is just V Jump, and you're just you go from a kid to a teenager to Ultra Jump, and I mean I know there's Grand Jump, and isn't there Business?
Well,
Jump?
yeah, you go from like a kid.
Business Jump is Grand Jump now.
Oh,
What? Yeah, he's right. Yeah, business grand. No, yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah, jump is Grand Jump. Yeah.
okay. So like so
Yeah. So it's like you said, you go to like was it you go to one, and then you go to Weekly Shonen Jump, and then for Weekly Shonen Jump, you go to Weekly Young Jump, and then from Weekly Young Jump, yeah, you go to like Grand Jump or.
Exactly. There's not like because I mean Ultra Jump is basically just monthly Young Jump, honestly, for real. I mean like overall, like from the stuff I've read in there, like
Yeah.
there's not a huge difference in quality between like Ultra Jump and Young Jump. So
Yeah.
Meanwhile, there's definitely. I mean, I can't. Well, let me not say quality because I don't want people to attack me. I just mean like in the variety and type of series. Like the series might all be good, but like they're pretty much what you're getting in Young Jump and Ultra Jump are pretty similar.
Mm-hmm.
But meanwhile, with the big comics, it is kind of a granular thing where each one is getting different, like different topics are tackled and different things are being, expressed through the stories. And of course, just overall with Shogakukan, it's just a thing where it's like, you know, because the authors are just not being pressed to make a deadline, not deadline, excuse me, not being pressed to sell. It feels like the stories they're telling stories that they want to tell more than what's popular or what's they're expressing what's interesting to them.
Yeah.
And that's what it seems like just from the different interviews I translated with different Sunday editors. Like that seems to be the overall thought, which is that we want you to come here and feel like you can tell the story you want to tell, opposed to whatever's just popular today.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I guess we can start wrapping this up.
Yep.
Indeed.
Right.
Yeah, thank you again, Winter, for coming on this journey with us while we suffered through explaining all the magazines.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you guys for having me on here. Thank you for agreeing to this idea, agreeing to my idea for it.
I mean, again, I'll admit I didn't want to do it. I do like comic, but I'm glad we did because I feel like there are probably lots of like podcasts for specific series, but even us here at SNS, the fact that we have one for just a publisher, like that already makes us the Shogakukan of podcast.
Yeah, basically, yes.
So like there's no like I know there probably are Jump podcasts, but I feel like they're just very centralized on Weekly Jump.
Yeah, no, they are. I checked a lot of the top 100, and they're all like, if they do Jump, they're doing Weekly Shonen Jump, and that's just excluding the ones where it's like, for example, your Demon Slayer podcast, or where they're for a specific series, right? Like Demon Slayer, Chainsaw Man, or Dragon Ball, or something. Yeah. No.
So that's why I I thought this idea was a good, even with my hesitance, I thought this was a good idea for this show, only just because this is the only kind of show we could do this on without it being seeming just out of left field or whatever. So
yeah.
So thanks for presenting the idea, like VLord said, and I guess you can let people know I guess you can let people know where to find you.
Yeah, I'll plug the accounts. So you can find me on Twitter at WinterVenom91. Same username on Blue Sky as well. And of course, I have to plug. Gotta plug Behind the Manga, the Behind the Manga podcast. That's where I am a co-host along with Manga Alerts. The restock guy. You all love him. And Vampy, who is deep in the Shoujose community. She runs the Shoujose World Twitter account. We like periodically, well, I would say periodically, but it's like generally every 2 weeks, we have an episode where we cover the various news that occurred in the anime and manga industry. Specifically, we focus on manga. We also have like episodes for anime as well called Behind the Anime. And with those, we cover that industry, not just in Japan, but also what happens in the industries in in North America. So what did Viz do, or what did Seven Seas license? Those kind of things, we will mention them. We'll mention them there, along with, hey, stuff that happened in Japan, like, oh, Freerin has this many copies. It's, I think, 17 million copies in circulation, or Oshinoko has this many copies in circulation now. Those kind of things. Yeah, so that's so make sure to check us out. We have there's one episode interview. We also do interviews with people in the industry and people in the community as well. We also have a blog, a website up. Make sure to check out, where we'll post news and reviews there as well. We have an upcoming episode that's going to be really cool. It's in the editing process right now, so hopefully part 1 should be out tomorrow. Well, it should be out Sunday, December 17th, as recording this now. We're hoping to strive for that.
Okay. I guess I can go next. So you can find me at Kirobon on Twitter, KIIROBON. That's really the boring account, so follow it if you dare. If you, for the fun stuff, is at WSS Talkback on Twitter, which is, well, as we talk about Shogakukan, well, Shonen Sunday. We talk about all Shogakukan, but with a focus on Shonen Sunday. And again, as I said before, please help me. If you know your josei and your shoujo, I don't not talk about those because I don't want to. I don't not talk about them because I'm suffering. So if you want to pair up with me, please, by all means, like, I'm begging you. But unlike other magazine Twitters, you have lots of options, but we go through the entire Shonen Sunday magazine every week, the entire thing, with the Viz releases and the Shonen, the Japanese releases. Hopefully, it'll be a day where everything is released by Viz. But besides that, we also have wsstalkback.blogspot.com, where we have interviews, translations of interviews with mangaka people, reviews of manga, and yeah. I think the most recent thing there is an interview that I translated between Kazuhiro Fujita and Kazuhiko Shimamoto, which was a lot of fun to do. So definitely give that a look-see, and we're gonna have our usual end of year wrap up. So look forward to that. Also, I have another another thing to write for the newest series. But yeah, we also do reviews of new weekly Shonen Sunday serials, which I'm behind on, so I'll get on that. And as I always said, I guess this goes in tandem with what I just said, which is that if you're interested in writing about Shonen Sunday or Shogakukan in general, you listen to this podcast, you all those magazines, like, I know that series. Definitely give us we'd love to have guest writers. Like, Shogakukan is a love that everybody should share. Besides that, I'm also on podcasts with VLord, even though we haven't podcasted.
This counts, doesn't it?
Demon Slayer podcast, the New York Times anointed podcast that I haven't been on in a while. There's that. There's also Oversold, a Shaman King podcast, which, God, when was the last time we talked about that? At Shaman King.
You don't talk about that.
At Shaman King Pod. Flowers is coming out. Watch us not talk about that too. And of course, Saturday Night Shoggy, which is what you're listening to. And I'm also on a podcast with our good friend Colton, Another Day, Another Adventure, which is Dragon Ball podcast, and we've made a blood pact with Toei to talk about if it's animated and Goku shows up in it, we're probably going to talk about it some. So you should check that. You should check that out. We're still in the middle of the original Dragon Ball. We were making pretty good progress, but then life got in the way. So hopefully we'll have new episodes of that out soon, because we definitely would love. I have a lot of fun recording. Like Colton definitely reinvigorated my love of Dragon Ball. So yeah, definitely did that. See, I guess I'm technically part of the Manga Mavericks network now. You want to talk about that, VLord?
Yeah, sure. I can just go into my plugs, I guess.
Yeah.
So yeah, you can find me on Twitter, Instagram, and Blue Sky at VLordGTZ. And then I am the owner of MangaMavericks.com, also known as all-comic.com, where you can check out our editorials, reviews, news, and also postings of podcasts like this one, as well as the rest of the Manga Mavericks network, which includes the Manga Mavericks podcast, where we talk about the manga industry and different manga series in general, hosted by Lum Ramayasha and Colton. Then on the Demon Slayer side, we have the Demon Slayer podcast at D Slayer Podcast, where we talk about Demon Slayer. And then, of course, we have Saturday Night Shoggy at Sat Night Shoggy, Oversoul Shaman King podcast at Shaman King Pod, and also the Dumb Leaves podcast at Dumb Leaves Pod. And also, our friend Marion has a manhwa Korean webtoon podcast called Soju Wanna Read Manhwa that we also host as well. So if you're interested in webtoons, go check out that at Soju Manhwa Pod. But yeah, I mean, as far as this podcast is concerned, though, you can find it on basically every platform at this point. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Podbay, you name it, we're there. So just go look us up, write us a review if you enjoy the content. And yeah, just give us any feedback or questions that you have. I mean, we have a email at satnightshoggy@gmail.com, so if you want to send us a question, we might even mention it on the next episode. Yeah, that's about it.
All right. So, I mean, again, thanks again for coming on, Winter. And I guess the next time we want to suffer,
we know who to call.
No, this was fun. Like, I'm really glad that you brought this idea to our attention, and hopefully soon we will have this episode out, and people can also hear me hyperventilate on mic.
Insert some dramatic music there to make it worse.
Yes, do it.
The Oppenheimer music.
Do the Sonic drowning music.
Oh no.
Alright, but yeah, I guess we'll see you guys later.
Yep, see you guys.
See ya.
An alien force has come to Earth.
The world faces a crisis from which only we can protect it.
Now, the only question is, are they here to bring peace or destruction?
Take them out, fast and hard!
What are you doing?
Whose side are you really on?
Toonami presents a full-length Justice League movie, Star-Crossed, next Saturday at 7:30. Keep your enemies close and your friends closer.
Didn't have to be this way.